Yeah, I'm holding it. All right, ready? Cheers. Cheers, down up. Bam! Once again, domination.
I beat you. Go back to the replay. This is sad. Jay finally got it.
What will be longer, Barry's 40 time or how long it took for Lawrence to flip his cup?
I get to Dallas and I choke.
Fantasy Football Pregame with Matthew Berry.
I missed Lawrence's line about I got to Dallas and I choked the first time. That's what happens in Dallas. People choke.
The bright lights.
The bright lights get to you. Lawrence pulling his best Dak Prescott there in beer pong. I'm sorry, in flip cup, not beer pong. Flip cup, George. But yeah, the replay showed that your cup was still spinning and mine landed flat, so victory was mine.
It was a photo finish. I like how the whole bit was to set up the show and say, hey, Lawrence isn't here because of flip cup, but instead we go to Matthew's victory on, on the best moment of week 4 in Dallas.
Yes, use Zapruder film George's cup still spinning.
Yeah, thank you, Shortstops Trading Cards. Flip Cup Dance is, in fact, solid. What these guys don't understand, it's crazy to me. Come to me here on the main chair. So, yeah, what's amazing to me, by the way, welcome to Fantasy Football Pregame. He's Jay Croucher, George Savaricas, I'm Matthew Berry. Here's what's crazy to me. So these guys have worked with me now. This is our 4th year working together. And Jay Croucher specifically has literally spent every single day of his life with me for the last 3.5 years. And what these two have not figured out yet is my superpower, literally my only superpower, is that I can take any situation and somehow make it about me. So, like, that's what I just did there, right? Like, you guys are shocked that I somehow turned the flip cup thing into
it's a modern marvel.
Being all about me.
It's the eighth wonder of the world.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, it's literally the only thing I can do.
Yeah. Here's Lawrence failing at flip cup, and here's how it pertains to me, Matthew Berry.
That's right.
Here's why I'm great.
It's good.
Lawrence with the week off. He'll be back next week. Ryan Oswald. I think we finally get a flawless and not so sad flip cup this week too.
Yeah, I was in
pressure.
I was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama this
Practicing.
for my kid as a junior there.
So you needed better competition.
I'm just saying. No, the kids were strong there. Shout out to the Delta Chi fraternity. They're strong there. That's it's where my son's a member, and we beat Vandy. Roll Tide.
Did the Delta Chi fraternity welcome the leather daddy with open arms?
Yeah, they did. They did. They like me. They like me. They like my wife Beth. Yeah, absolutely.
How about we kick it off with a toast, and it can't be to yourself.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So my toast right here is for Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, welcome back. Faith in 5. It's been too long. He's going to be wearing a knee brace. He's not going to have Terry McLaurin. But boy, oh boy, 2-2. We can't go to 2-3 against an angry Chargers team. We need you. This is a toast to Jaden Daniels, who covers the 3.5 and brings the Commanders to victory today.
Okay. You need the points?
Let's not get crazy.
Here's a toast about the greatest quarterback of all time, only losing by 3.
Hail Commanders, hail cover.
Right, exactly.
Right, my toast, and his name was just sullied in the intro for no reason. Dak Prescott.
But you know what? No. But I'll just say this. Jaden Daniels, for our purposes, right back into fantasy lineups.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And now a man who I wasn't sure was going to be in fantasy lineups to the same extent, but he absolutely is a legitimate QB1. Matthew, Dak Prescott.
Yes, sir.
My toast is to Dak Prescott is playing, I think, the best football of his career. He was magnificent on Sunday night against the Packers. So here's you, Dak Prescott. I thought he might be done. I thought it might be over the other side of the aging curve, but he's been fantastic this season.
Great chirp from Pro-Democracy for Barry. Was that a toast or a prayer?
Why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't it be both?
Oh, man, the regulars already.
Matthew, by the way, very anti-democracy. Dictator Barry.
He's a benevolent dictator.
Yeah, I am. No, but I rule with an iron fist. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, exactly. If I was more of a dictator, like, things would be different in the League of Assholes. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be over right now.
For sure.
My toast to Sam Darnold, who bit of an afterthought free agency. I mean, the Vikings jettisoned
him. On this show, too.
Yeah, very much so. He's 6th in the NFL in quarterback rating right now, 106.5.
He's played well.
Favored at home against the Bucs. They win. He's 4-1. Their only loss would be that Brock Purdy prayer week 1 that should have been intercepted. The Seahawks have looked good. We haven't had a Sam Darnold really bad game like the end of last year. He's been steady. So here's to Sam Darnold balling out in Seattle so far.
Top 15 quarterback.
I would agree with that. Like, he has been much better in Seattle.
12,
he's been much better in Seattle than I thought he was going to be.
For sure. I'd say top 12 is realistic.
Yeah, on the fringe of the top 12. He's a very good quarterback, Sam Darnold.
We have an NFL game underway.
Yes, we do.
At the half, Browns up 10-7, and Quinshawn Judkins has looked great. 8 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Gabriel, 13-21, only 102 yards, touchdown.
To Harold Fannin. Judkins had a long touchdown called back due to penalty. So, Judkins has looked great. Could have looked even better. So disappointing, because it could have been even bigger. But he's on Jay's team, so I'm okay with it. I'll allow it.
Yes, he's looking great in the chubby leather. Quinshawn Judkins. He's going to be a monster.
No question.
And Carson Wentz dinged up right now, left shoulder injury. They're taking a look at the half. Not sure if he's going to be able to go the second half. If he can't,
it's Max Brosmer time.
Yeah.
Max Brosmer, who was not the bass guitarist for Radiohead, he's actually an NFL quarterback, and it could be his time to shine in the second half. We'll see.
It's been a tough year for the quarterback position for the Minnesota Vikings. Anyway, game's 10-7. We'll keep you updated. No need to watch that NFL game. Much better to watch 3 guys talk about fake football than watch some dumb NFL game. So
we'll give you an update every 26 minutes.
That is our solemn vow to you, the regulars. Every 26 minutes on the dot.
Multi-screen experience. Make it a multi-screen experience. Keep it on in the background. Watch us. All right, here we go.
So we mentioned the Carson Wentz injury. Let's get to some of the other players that we've been tracking this week with an eye towards the early games, whether they will go or not. Notable players already ruled out. Lamar Jackson out. Bucky Irving had been on crutches. There's the chance, there's some speculation, Bucky Irving could miss multiple weeks. Chuba Hubbard out. Trey Benson, meniscus on IR. Braylon Allen, MCL. Left knee injury, he's on IR, out at least 8 to 12 weeks. CeeDee Lamb with that high ankle sprain. Tyreek Hill done for the year. Terry McLaurin, the quad injury, still out. The updates to keep in mind, players that may go, may not go. The top 3 here are the ones to watch: Brock Bowers, Juwan Johnson, and Miles Sanders, whether they will go or not for the early games that start at 1 p.m. Eastern time, Matthew.
I will tell you that I have Bowers in a decent amount of lineups, and I went through this morning and replaced him in all of them. Even if he's active, I'm not sure. Now, obviously, it depends on who else you have, right?
Yeah.
But, I have a decent amount of Mason Taylor. I have some Harold Fannin, so I started him. So some of those guys, even if he goes, he's less than 100%. If they get blown out of this game, which I think there's a chance, they could bench him. I don't know if he plays a full complement of snaps. He hasn't been great so far anyway. I hope the Raiders bench him, let him rest. The only way it's going to get better is with rest. It's just, he's out there limping around. But I'll just say, fantasy-wise, a guy who's less than 100% on the road, is basically touchdown underdogs. I don't know. For whatever it's worth, in the leagues in which I have Brock Bowers, I replaced him.
Yep. And there are viable replacements out there between the Mason Taylors of the world in our league. Because I have Brock Bowers and Tucker Kraft, who's on a bye. I had to pick up Theo Johnson, who could be the second pass catcher for an NFL team today in a favorable matchup. So there are options out. Like Noah Fant of the world.
You want to get really weird?
Tommy Tremble?
Yeah. Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill. I was about ready to bring him up. I picked him up in our league. I'm not going to start him today. Again, I actually have Laporta in our league. But no, I mean, I think that I've used Mason Taylor a decent amount replacing Bowers. I picked up Taysom Hill in a few because I want to sort of see how he's used in Kellen Moore's offense. But obviously, tight end eligible, and they use him a bunch of different ways. They're looking for answers in New Orleans. Again, if Mason Taylor is gone, if Theo Johnson, you just mentioned, if you didn't start Harold Fannin, I will also say that Darren Waller's out there still in 100% of leagues. Obviously, you like him against Carolina, but the Dolphins are not great against opposing tight ends. Tommy Tremble of the Carolina Panthers, of your Carolina Panthers, Jatavian Sanders not going to play today, so Tremble should get the majority of the work. And I think he's going to be like the number 2 pass catcher for Bryce Young in a matchup that doesn't scare you.
Yep.
Like after Tedero McMillan, Hunter Renfrow hasn't done much recently. Xavier Legette does not look great.
Brock Bowers just ruled out as well.
Okay.
Jay Glazer's reporting.
Okay, so there you go.
Yep.
Getting all the breaking news right here.
There you go. Exactly.
All the Jays.
Who needs to follow Jay Glazer when you got Jay Croucher telling you what Jay Glazer just said?
It's very Inception. Yes. How deep can you go?
To our burning questions, first game, Houston, road favorites as I'm roasting over the coals.
Dalton Schultz, by the way. By the way, speaking of another sort of tight end that's out there, Dalton Schultz has started to play a lot more. We like this matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. You see it there on your screen. He's tight end 18. Again, you're going pretty far down the list. Check my rankings, NBCSports.com, Rotoworld.com. Of course, I'm a company man. Mason Taylor is sort of my favorite. I mean, again, that's the guy that I've used the most, that I think is sort of out there. We like the matchup with Dallas. He's the number 2 pass catcher. Fields has looked better. Mason Taylor's target share and, snaps played have gone up every single week.
Both teams with losing records. Texans -1.5 at Baltimore, over under 40.5 because Cooper Rush will be under center for the Ravens. Can you trust, Jay, any Baltimore pass catchers this week?
I don't think you really can. Zay Flowers will be the only one, but even his receiving prop is set at 48.5 on DraftKings. As you see, the Ravens amping up game time loading. Cooper Rush.
That doesn't get Ravens fans excited. I don't know what tweet.
Ready to run through a wall there. I think Zay Flowers, for the most part, you still have to start him because they're going to be able to scheme up touches. They'll throw him wide receiver screens and stuff over the middle. Cooper Rush isn't going to have to be Peyton Manning to get the ball to Zay Flowers, but outside of that, I don't feel good about any Ravens pass catcher method.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Look, when Cooper Rush was starting for the Dallas Cowboys, so obviously different skill set, different players, different play caller, but he was averaging over 209. He was averaging about 209 passing yards a game, 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in those 8 starts. So again, he's a low volume guy. He's a prototypical game manager. He is the, Jay always loves to use references from other sports. He's an innings eater, is honestly what he is.
Well done, Matthew. That's good. That's how you do it.
Yeah, he is an innings eater at the quarterback position.
He's Jeff Suppan.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. He's got a 5 ERA, but he gets
Steve Traxel.
Exactly.
Cubs legend.
Yeah,
there you go.
7 1/3, 4 earned runs, But whatever, it keeps you in the game, and that's what I think they're going to do with Cooper Rush here. I think they will actually run. It will be a run-heavy offense here with Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. But it's worth noting that in those 7 games with Cooper Rush, last year, CeeDee Lamb averaged over 16 fantasy points per game, had a 28% target share. So he is competent enough to at least keep an elite-level player elevated. Now, again, less target competition on the Cowboys when Cooper Rush was there versus here with Baltimore, where you've got a lot of weapons, and we do think they'll go run heavy. Having said that, Zay Flowers basically a 30% target share this year, and 47% of his receiving yards have come after the catch. So Cooper Rush, who has a little bit of a noodle arm, I could see to your point of trying to figure out ways to get the ball to Zay Flowers on quick crossing routes, bubble screens, that kind of thing, and try to take advantage of his yards after the catch. Ignacio Bernal asks KW3 or Flowers in the flex.
KW3.
It's Ken Walker, and it's not close.
Yep.
Is the answer there. But look, again, I have Zay Flowers at wide receiver 22, so he's a high-end wide receiver 3. I do think, to your point about so he's probably going to get about 50 yards and probably has I'd guess, 40% chance at a touchdown.
Yep, maybe a little bit lower, but he'll get the 50. He might get the 50 yards, but it might be on 7 or 8 receptions. I think they can.
Yeah, so it might be a little bit right. Might be a little bit of a scam artist here. So
some of the regulars want to talk about their Woody. Is Marks a lineup lock after last week? Must start every week.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly he's a must start this week. I'm as a top 20 play in a week in which you've already seen all the injuries, and we've got 4 teams on a bye, including all their running backs. This is somebody. Look. Woody led the backfield in touches and target share snap rate last season. Last week, I should say. Sorry, last week. It has been a long day. It was a long travel day from Tuscaloosa.
We're just glad you made it.
Thanks, brother. Same. Well, let's speak for yourself. I'm sure Jay's kind of like,
That was iffy. I thought it might be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Just you and George.
Just
you and George.
Chaos.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Lawrence will be back next week, by the way. I don't know if we ever actually truly addressed why Lawrence
is. Say that off the top.
Lawrence has been suspended after the Flip Cup incident.
Disciplinary reasons.
Yeah, we got a call from Roger Goodell. Yeah. We can't have that guy. If he's going to flip a cup like that, he's out.
It's pretty brutal. Anyway, nice matchup for Woody Marks here. Baltimore has allowed the most fantasy points to opposing running backs. So the fact that they use him in both the passing game, he's terrific at pass production, Woody Marks is. And so he doesn't really come off the field. He's given them a spark that Nick Chubb has not. So, yes, The Chubb has gone down to a semi-Chubb. The Woody is at full Woody.
Might be a 0% Chubb. You might have to squint.
It might be no Chubb.
But I wonder
Anti-Chubb.
with Chubb if he would get the high leverage red zone carries inside the 5. If that would be the default where you just hope he falls in the end zone or not.
But potentially.
The real commish. Need to flex his PPR. A young Woody, Rico, BTJ, hashtag FF pregame, hashtag October Judge.
Is that a shot at me?
No, I think that's a Yankees thing. I mean, right?
That is a shot.
Obviously.
It's a shot because Aaron Judge has not been great in the postseason of the journey. And he may have struck out with the bases loaded and none out last night on a pitch that I would have not swung on, but that's okay. So real commish, thanks for the question. Thanks for the slight dig at me.
Yeah. I will say that I don't think you can go wrong because I like all these threes, but I'm going with Rico Dowdle, who's going to get all the work. No, the second Chubbler is out against Miami. Dolphins a bottom 3 run defense. And so then it becomes Woody Marks versus Brian Thomas Jr., and I get it. BTJ has been brutal. And we're very pro Woody Marks. So I get it if I saw BTJ on your bench. Having said that, I'm not there yet to bench Brian Thomas Jr. I'm still starting him. Monday night against Kansas City. I get it.
BTJ.
Yeah, I'll be benching BTJ. I haven't seen anything. And it's not just like, with Ladd McConkey, right? The underlying stuff looks fine. He's still creating separation. He's just he was 1 of 6 last week. He's not going to drop. There's not going to be 5 misconnections between Herbert and Ladd McConkey. The BTJ underlying stuff is just terrible. He's outside the top 90 in PFF grade among receivers. He just looks like a broken player at the moment. So Woody Marks, I feel like has a fairly high floor where rushing prop is 56.5. He's a 40% chance at a touchdown. Get a little receiving work as well.
All fair.
Yeah, I think I'll lean Woody.
Good.
All fair.
Chirp here from one of the regulars. Strange Sonic Conspiracy says new moniker for Chubb, inverted Chubb.
Oh, inverted Chubb.
It is an inverted Chubb.
It might be an inverted Chubb.
He's set at 31.5 rushing yards. And he doesn't catch the ball.
That's a small Chubb.
Yeah, there's no Chubb there.
Yeah, there's
borderline inverted.
You gotta go to the doctor for those.
Soft. It's a soft
Dr.
Chubb.
Denny. Every Friday. Next game, we got the Dolphins at the Panthers. Both teams 1-3. Dolphins, again, a road favorite here by 1.5 to over under 44.5. So with the news that Chuba 2.0 is out this week, Rico Dowdle, who you've just been touching on, so I'll spin it to Jay. Is Rico Dowdle, Jay, a must start?
I think he is, because you feel really good about the work that he's going to get unopposed in this backfield relatively. In terms of what DraftKings is expecting, Rico Dowdle set a 60.5 rushing yards. That is very healthy. He has a very good chance to score a touchdown as well. Should get some receiving work. Not too worried about game script against this Dolphins team. By the way, this is where the Carolina Panthers franchises are at. They're home dogs against the Miami Dolphins without Tirico. Where are you going as a franchise? Honestly, if
it's a Bryce Young experience.
Yeah, if you're Tepper, you got to call Dave Canales in. Why are we dogs at home to the Miami Dolphins? Is this really where the franchise is? So I think that Dowdle, though, a must start is a strong term for Rico Dowdle, but for the most part, you'd be in a very good spot with your team if you're benching Rico Dowdle this week.
I'm at running back 15. Look, last year he'd had 10 different games where he got at least 15 touches, and we expect that kind of workload today against the Dolphins. And he averaged almost 15 fantasy points per game. It's a good match with Miami, as you mentioned. They're giving up 110 rushing yards per game to opposing running backs, 4.7 yards per carry, and the 7th most fantasy points per game to opposing running backs as well. So Dowdle, who should get all the work for a Carolina Panthers offense that we don't think is great. But
we know it's not great. For a fact.
But we also know that the Dolphins' defense is not great as well. Beyond the RK says start 3, bench 1, PPR, Godwin, Montgomery, Dowdle, and Devontae Smith. You're benching Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
It's not close to me.
Which is sad.
Yeah. Really sad.
As he won the Heisman Trophy.
Yes.
And looked amazing.
And I mean,
might still be
a day after I'm out of a day removed from me being in Tuscaloosa, I'm going against.
Walking the same halls.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Devontae Smith, Crimson Tide legend, Devontae Smith. But unfortunately, it's not his fault. But that's who you're benching.
Does the Delta Chi fraternity say Matthew Berry, Crimson Tide legend, based on his weekend in Tuscaloosa?
They might.
Yeah.
One day.
Might.
46.5 yards is Devontae Smith's receiving prop without much low touchdown equity as well. It's not great. So I think Devontae Smith
He's been under that, 3 or 4 times this year?
Yeah, he's like a 10, 11 point per. That's the expectation, is his baseline. It's It's not great until they figure out their passing game.
This next game, intriguing, and I had teased.
And the problem is that they have figured out their passing game. They don't want to do it.
Yeah.
They're 4-0.
They're allergic to it.
They don't need to. They're 4-0.
Yeah, there's going to be a reckoning coming for Philadelphia unless they fix some things.
Has there been more smoke around a 4-0 team? I mean, I guess maybe the
Chiefs last year.
The Chiefs last year, all the one-score games.
Chiefs last year was constantly, they can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was, but they did.
I'll tell you what.
Till the Super Bowl, and then they got their ass kicked.
I haven't studied every team in the history of professional sports, but I'll say right now, there has been no team in history that is more in crisis than this Eagles team, out of teams that have won 19 out of 20 games, including a Super Bowl. There's reports like, no, A.J. Brown is not going to get traded. Like, what do you mean? This team's won 19 out of 20 games. Feels like the coach is going to get sacked if they lose 2 games in a row. It's unbelievable.
They panic. I remember the year was like 2 years ago or whatever, where they were like they were like crushing everyone, and then they got their asses kicked by, I think, the
Bucs in the playoff game.
No. It was in the middle of the season. It was the Niners. They got their asses kicked by the Niners, and then I think the Cowboys.
Cowboys beat them by 20 on Sunday.
And then they all freaked out, and they fired both their coordinators, and they just panicked. And you're like, you guys are 12-2 or whatever it was. It was like 11-2, 10. It was something like that. It was something like, what are you doing? Anyway, no one panics like the Eagles. They're 4-0. Anyway, whatever. It's not my job to fix the Eagles. It's not my job to fix the Eagles. It's my job to fix your fantasy teams. We're going to continue to doing that.
Hashtag FF Pregame on the tube and on Twitter as well. We'll get to all your start-sit questions, any other questions you want to throw at us throughout the show. The next game, 3-1 Bucs. Now, I mentioned this top of the show. They're 3.5-point dogs at Seattle, taking on Sam Darnold, over under 44.5. This I find interesting because Bucky Irving out. So, Matthew, how are you approaching the Bucs backfield this week?
Well, you see it right there on your screen. I have Rachaad White as a top 20 play. The most important thing here is that the Buccaneers are top 12 in running back target share. Rachaad White is obviously a pass-catching running back. Why do I bring that up? Because the Seahawks allow the most receiving yards to opposing running backs in this season. They're tied also for the most receptions to opposing running backs allowed. That's one place you can attack. As good as the Seahawks defense is, one place that you can attack them is through the passing game to the running backs. And so I do think Rachaad White, reports have been out there from NFL Network that White is expected to get the majority of the carries. I will be honest here, and at the beginning of the week, one of my sort of sleeper running backs is Sean Tucker, who I still love. I still love the Tuckwagger, the Tuckler, Sean Tucker, pride of Syracuse. And in a different matchup, I think he would do better. Like, I still don't mind him as a desperation play. I'm at running back 31. So I have him as like a very low-end flex, a viable guy for a deeper league. I will say that my belief is that, in essence, Rachaad White keeps the Rachaad White role that he's had in the offense and just expands it, gets more work, gets part of the Bucky Irving work. But the Sean Tucker is the more one-for-one replacement for Bucky Irving, and he gets a decent amount of that work when he's gotten an opportunity, Sean Tucker. He has one game with 10 career touches, 10 touches in his career. He's got one game, right? That was the week 6 against New Orleans last week. 17 for 192, the 2 touchdowns. That was sort of his. But, he averages, for his career, he's averaging 5.9 yards per carry. There's an explosiveness to Sean Tucker that isn't there with Rachaad White. I know they like Sean Tucker. I know that personally. High up people have said that to me. But first game, without Bucky Irving, on the road, tough matchup against Seattle. I think they lean on the veteran in Rachaad White as well. Here is a tweet from Adam Schefter.
Turns out that the Buccaneers' Bucky Irving shoulder injury, which he did not report to the team until Tuesday last week, is more of an issue than his sprained foot. And remember, he was on crutches, per sources. Irving dealing with the shoulder subluxation, which is expected to sideline him at least 2 weeks. I was saying it likely a multi-week injury. Schefter saying the same. The reason I had some trepidation with Sean Tucker, he had that amazing week 6, was Bucky Irving got injured against the Raiders last year in December. That game, when he was out, Rachaad White had 19 touches. Sean Tucker had 3. So we saw later in the year, in what was a fairly close game until the fourth quarter, they leaned heavily on Rachaad White. The Sean Tucker game was a massive blowout when he went for what?
And he went off.
Plus
it was
yards.
Crazy.
So we would see if maybe it course corrects somewhere closer to a 70-30 versus a 85-15 against the Raiders, because clearly he's a talent that you say your Bucs contacts have spoken very highly of, and we've seen it when he's had his chances.
I have him stashed in a lot of leagues, but I'm not starting him in very many leagues today. Sean Tucker. I do think Rachaad White is a top 20 play today.
It might be if Bucky Irving's out multiple weeks, see it for 1 week, and then start him the second week.
I would grab Sean Tucker wherever you can, because I do think he's a talented running back. I just think First game on the road at Seattle against a defense where their vulnerability is through pass-catching running backs. White gets a pretty big workload today.
Next game, this is biggest spread of the week. The Lions 10.5-point road favorites, 3-1, going against the 2-2 Bengals, 10.5-point home dogs. Over under. They're expecting a shootout here. 49.5. Jamar Chase owners, and I'm one in other leagues, definitely concerned. Buy, sell. Is he the only Bengal worth starting, Jay?
No, I think that you still are okay starting Chase Brown as a very low-end RB2, high-end RB3. T. Higgins as well, I think is going to be viable in the flex. I think that the Bengals offense is going to look a little bit better today. The Lions are very banged up on defense. DJ Reed is out for quite a while. Lions corner situation not great. And the hope would be is that the Lions, what they do is they play a ton of man coverage. You know who destroys man coverage? Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And they're going to be playing from behind. The total is 49.5. I understand there hasn't been much garbage time production from Jake Browning these past 2 weeks against the Vikings and Broncos. But for the most part, I think that you're okay starting Chase Brown in particular. And T. Higgins, I think, is a viable flex. There's still T. Higgins. Like, there's still the talent to rely on.
Score update. Vikings are now up 14-10. Jordan Mason had fumbled earlier in the game, plows in for a touchdown. So the Vikes have taken the lead. And I mentioned the Carson Wentz injury. He's out there in the second half. So the Max Brosmer experience.
Short-lived.
Going to have to wait another week, apparently.
The Wentzler. He's back. The Wentzler.
No.
You heard me.
No. He hasn't a nickname. He hasn't earned it. Not since 2017.
Funny, George. Hashtag FF pregame, standard PPR. Who should I flex? Io Manor, RJ Harvey, or Chase Brown?
I get the question. Io Manor scored, I think 2 of the last 3 weeks. I'm still going with Chase Brown. There's not a lot to hang your hat on with Chase Brown other than the usage. He's been out there a ton. It's not like as the Bengals have struggled, they've been like, all right, let's try Taj Brooks or Samaje Perine. It's still been Chase Brown, and he's being involved in the passing game, at least a 13% target share in 3 out of 4 games so far this year. To your point, game script works here in the sense that they're heavy underdogs. They'll be at home. I do think that, last week he averaged 4 yards per carry, which isn't amazing, but it's actually a season high. He had 71 yards from scrimmage, which also not amazing, but also a season high. So they're getting better, and I agree with Jay. The hate has gone too far on the Bengals. They have been bad. They have been brutal. And this is not a great matchup with with a Lions defense that is top 7 in the NFL in terms of fewest fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. All that said, I just think there's kind of some sneaky shootout potential. There's some backdoor cover potential. Chase Brown doesn't come off the field. There's some dump offs there. Browning, they get home to Browning. You saw it against Denver. They dumped off to Chase Brown a lot. I'm at running back 19, Chase Brown. So my answer to him, and I think you'd be hard pressed. I guess you never know. You had Quinshon. Maybe you got Quinshon Judkins late, and you're starting him. Maybe you've got Javonte Williams, somebody you got late. So there's other guys out there, but I'm still. I'll put it this way. Let me put it this way. I'm still starting Chase Brown over all the other. Starting Chase Brown over the Michael Carter, Amari DiMaccardo types. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those Sean Tucker type. I'm ranked one spot ahead of. Rachaad White. I have him 2 spots behind Rico Dowdle. So check your, but
the way I'd look at it is that the line's been hanging around 10.5. The total is 49.5. So the market is saying that the average score for this game is going to be something around 30 to 20. And if the Bengals are going to get to 20, that is going to come with statistical production for I would say at least 2 of Chase, Higgins, and Brown. And so I think Brown is a pretty good bet to be viable certainly and to score double-digit points at least.
Yeah. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that has as much up. I get it. He's been bad. Yeah. Make no mistake. He is on my team, my 0-4 team. He is one of the few healthy players on my that's what sucks is my good players have been hurt. My crappy players have been out there every effing week.
Giving it all they got.
Yeah, exactly. It's 0-4 about to be 0-5.
The mighty have fallen.
Dude.
I did the Lord's work last week. I couldn't be the first one to get clipped by a...
Listen, it's a combination. The Excuseler is back in business.
All-time nickname.
All-time nickname. Love it. I'm not running from it. I'm printing T-shirts. I'm going to sell them. most points against.
Oh, my
yes,
goodness.
I do.
I'm going to watch Browns
That's a
Vikings
fact.
for a bit.
Well,
That's a fact.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how you can argue with a fact. And in fact, Connor Rogers, who I'm playing this week,
How you can argue
is
with a
literally
fact.
like
It's a fact.
It's literally projected to have the highest score in the league this week. So what are you going to do? Plus, I've gotten a bunch of injuries, and my team sucks. By the way, the players that I do have that are healthy.
No,
Way to bury the lead.
No, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Sam Laporta, they have sucked so far.
Draft players who don't suck next time.
Yeah, I should draft the good players. I don't know why I didn't.
You're the expert.
Yeah. IR regular, here comes the excuser. I am the high stepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, the excuser back.
Yep.
Yeah, Aloha Brits, you're damn right. You're damn right.
Excusler back at it again. The
That's
regulars
right.
know him all too well.
Yeah, the excuser.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell T-shirts.
Matthew's accountability is going on IR with IR regular.
I like that the excuser's thinking of another revenue stream. I should sell merch.
I should sell merch. Excuser mugs.
Another
keychains, bumper stickers.
backfield question.
Yes,
and
sir.
This was a little surprising because we knew Trey Benson was dinged up, but we didn't know leaving the game last week that this was going to be an IR stint for 4 weeks. So
yeah, there was reporting out there that it was not considered serious, and then
they're like, minor ding.
3 minutes later,
IR. See
that was a
pal.
bad look there.
So we got the 0-4 Titans, 7.5-point dogs. Cardinals, 7.5-point home favorites, over under 41.5. How are you approaching the Cards backfield, Matthew?
I have them as kind of an equal split here. Like, we just don't know. Like last week, in 2 games last season, Michael Carter served as the lead back for the Cardinals. DeMarcado was inactive. He played 73% of the snaps. He averaged 18 touches a game, about 70 yards a game, actually had almost 8% target share, 13 fantasy points per game. Now you think about Amari DeMarcado, who last week played on 81% of the 3rd and 4th downs, 93% of their long down and distance. In 5 career games where he's gotten at least 9 touches, he's averaging over 11 fantasy points per game. So I think this is really going to be a bit of a split, probably a little bit of a hot hand if Carter gets hot or DeMarcado. The positives are is you love this matchup with the Titans, right? Tennessee giving you the 3rd most rushing yards per game. They also allow the 4th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. So they give up a ton of points, a ton of yards to opposing running backs. Cardinals are 7.5-point favorites in this one. So I think there might be enough work for both of these guys. I think Kyler actually has a decent game here. So does Marvin Harrison Jr. You're obviously already starting Trey McBride. But how I'm approaching these 2 running backs is I have Carter 1 spot over DeMarcado. So if you have both those, you can only play one. I'm choosing Carter. But I do think both guys are flex viable in a week with so many injuries and 4 teams on a bye.
Yeah, I would lean Carter just because I think that he is going to get the bulk of the carries and they're more than touchdown favorites. I think he's a better chance of getting into the end zone as well. DraftKings has his rushing prop twice as high as DeMarcado. Obviously, DeMarcado is going to give you more in the receiving game. Now, it's twice as high. It's still 43.5 for Michael Carter. But he has much more touchdown equity, I think.
I agree with that.
What do you base the bulk of the carries on? Why do you say he's going to get the bulk over DeMarcado when DeMarcado was higher on the depth chart? Let's get that answer in just a second from Rob. Half-point PPR, Michael Carter, DeMarcado, or Io Manar?
I'm going to say Michael Carter unless Calvin Ridley's questionable for this game. He's been banged up. It was looking like he was going to miss. Now there's a chance he might play. So if Calvin Ridley is officially inactive, then I think Alec Ayomanor, who has, like I said, scored in 2 of the last 3 games. He's leading. To the extent there is a leading receiver on the Titans, I do think it is Ayomanor. We like his talent quite a bit. We've talked about him for a number of weeks on Fantasy Football Happy Hour, and they've had a tough schedule. The Titans have. Cam Ward is not this bad. This Titans offense is not this bad. I think things get a lot easier against a Cardinals defense that's plucky. They're plucky and they're scrappy, but they're a little bit banged up. Game script should work for the Titans passing offense again as over a touchdown underdog here. So if Ridley's out, Ayomanor. If he's active, I would go with Carter. That's the same game, so you'll be able to make that decision an hour before.
Yeah, to answer your question, George, I think the way this Cardinals offense has run, it's been fairly set where they've had a guy who's the first 2 downs, and then there's the pass catcher on the 3rd down. Even when James Conner went down, it's like Trey Benson. He didn't start getting, workhorse usage or anything. It's just he became the first 2 downs guy, and then DeMarcado was the pass catching back. I think Michael Carter is going to get more of the rushing work on early downs, and that DeMarcado will stay in the 3rd down roll. That is my sense.
The only caution I would say in 2023, when they were both active, similar scenario, DeMarcado had more carries those 3 games, and then Matthew pointed out he was inactive twice in December last year when Carter got it.
So here's what you do. You start Michael Carter, and then you bet over 21.5 rushing yards from Murray DeMarcado.
There you go.
I would say either guy's probably going to get, 8 to 10 carries? I mean, maybe.
It's a weird one, though, because they are like
touches,
7.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
Like, they should be running the ball, but we'll see.
All right, our final game, the Patriots 2-2, trying to get over 500, but it's a tall task. They are on the road in Buffalo, the undefeated Bills. 8.5-point home favorites. That over-under 49.5. Is Stefon Diggs a viable flex play in his return to Buffalo after going for 3 Bills last week, over 100 yards?
I think he is. I'm at wide receiver 25. He had a 41% target share last week, right? And 82% route participation, which is significantly up from what he did in weeks 1 through 3, which is not surprising. New team, off the injury, trying to get up to speed, getting healthier as well, but now going against his former team. You think Stefon Diggs is motivated tonight? I'm sure he is. I think there's more hate from the Diggs side than there is from the Bills side. The Bills are 4-0. They're over a touchdown home favorite. Okay, whatever, Stefon Diggs. We sent you off to obscurity to, boat parties with Cardi B or whatever. And
that was 2 teams ago.
Right, exactly.
The Texans and then.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, whatever. But Stefon Diggs, I think this is personal for him. I think Diggs has a nice game here. It's my wide receiver 25. Shauna White wants to know, should I start Diggs, Marks, or Montgomery in my flex PPR? So it's 1, right? So I actually don't think you can screw this up, Shauna. I actually like all 3 players today, but for me, I think it's David Montgomery. Just as a home favorite, going against Cincinnati, bottom 5 run defense for the Bengals. They give up a ton of touchdowns to opposing running backs. I think Monty gets into the end zone. He definitely has the best chance of scoring of those 3. So give me David Montgomery.
And part of it's probably what you need. He has the highest floor. Yeah. Woody Marks may have the highest upside of the 3. But
probably. But
it would be risky to think he'd replicate
what
he
did
did last
Diggs in a
week.
game in which the over-under is 49.5. If Diggs has 6 for 100 and a touchdown, anyone would be shocked about this?
No, well,
in a game,
had 6 for 100 last week. Didn't have the touchdown, but he went 6 for 100. It's not going to be my pickup line later in the show, though we will be staying in that part of the world. But on Friday, my pickup line, Matthew, when you're having your little Ferris Bueller's Day Off thing, joyriding in Tuscaloosa, was Stefon Diggs over 47.5 receiving yards. That to me is just bafflingly low.
Yeah.
He's the wide receiver 1 in this offense. He's trending in the right direction, coming off the serious injury. His underlying stats are great in terms of separation, in terms of he had a north of 85 PFF grade last week. I just think he's the guy in this passing game for a team that throws the ball a ton, surprisingly. So I think that Stefon Diggs, I think he should be set more in the low 60s each week, to be honest, and I think that he will. He's a very viable flex play at worst tonight.
It's almost disrespectful to a number 1 wide receiver.
47.5.
47.5 is pretty low.
Diggs.
I mean, I think they're baking in just the uncertainty because they've got 5 guys that sort of rotate in and out, and they weren't looking at the underlying route participation and everything like that.
He's playing in the slot a lot too, which you really like from a fantasy perspective. Just raises
those cheap,
his floor.
Those cheap receptions. I agree with you.
All right,
I would have gone. Did Connor go? Oh, it was Denny.
Denny went home with me. We had a great evening. Denny's he's a man of culture.
Should I be jealous? Should I be jealous of Denny?
Here he is.
Did Denny solve your flexual problem?
See you soon, Buffalo. Pats on the road. Diggs with the return to Bills country.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, he's ready.
Professional.
Official from Adam Schefter. Raiders tight end Brock Bowers inactive today due to PCL injury and bone bruise on his knee. Raiders will consider him week to week. Will reevaluate him this week to determine whether he can play next Sunday versus the Titans. It has been a very different fantasy season and actual season for Brock Bowers this year after that record-setting rookie campaign. He's out. Juwan Johnson active. Miles Sanders was maybe a 50-50 shot. He is officially out for the Cowboys.
Jaden Blue time.
Jaden Blue time, maybe. Let's see. Wouldn't mind picking him up to just see what happens there. I wouldn't start him. But
didn't you hear what happened to him on Friday?
What's that?
He wore designer Louis Vuitton cleats, had bad blisters on his feet, so they were saying he is questionable
That's
for the
completely
game.
insane.
That's Jaden Blue?
Yeah, it was going viral that he wore designer Louis cleats, and they said it was ill-advised. Which
that is.
That's absurd.
might be the.
If A.D. Mitchell's getting benched, then Jaden Blue's going to get benched for that. So.
Yeah, that's very ill-advised.
We got a question, very ill-advised to say the least, from Drew MC7, Sutton or Pollard, full PPR at my flex. Need safe points. Thank you for specifying, Drew, one of the regulars.
I think Pollard is the safer bet then here if you need safe points.
Yes.
Again, Denver on the road. Like I could certainly see, Philadelphia, their corners are pretty physical. I could see them getting physical with Courtland Sutton. I could see them struggling. Safe. Pollard, because of the workload, is the safer play there.
Next question here from Charlton Wright. Pick 2 PPR, Woody, Tet, Kamara.
I get the question, obviously. I'm still going with Kamara. Tet, I think Tirico McMillan again in a game against Miami where they should be able to move the ball. And Alvin Kamara, even though Kendre Miller has started to eat more into his workload, they're at home against the Giants. Giants struggle against running backs. He's Alvin Kamara. Again, we've got one game of Woody Marks. We like Woody Marks today, but I'm going with Kamara and Tirico McMillan for this one.
I might go Woody over Tirico McMillan just for the touchdown equity, but it's close. I think Tirico McMillan might have the highest ceiling of all of them. Tirico McMillan's going to break out for like a 135-yard game.
There's no question.
And it could be one of those garbage performances where they're down 2 touchdowns and he scores late. Ved Pye, White, Montgomery, Godwin, Allen, pick 2.5 point PPR.
I'm going to assume that's Keenan and not Braylon. And so, like a lot of these guys, obviously, but I'm going with Godwin and Allen. Again, Godwin against Seattle, I do think, like all the underlying numbers, it's a tough matchup here, but Seattle struggles a little bit against the slot. And I think that all the underlying numbers for Chris Godwin, in terms of the route participation, in terms of the usage, all look really positive. It didn't show up in the box score last week. I think it will this week. I'm going with Godwin and Keenan Allen, who I love today. But, Ved, I don't think you can screw this one up, to be honest with you. I think Montgomery and Rachaad White also have good games today.
Our next question here on the tube, coming from Jonathan Medici 7. Should I start Connor Rogers or Lawrence Jackson in my FFHH flex spot? Both guys missed shows this week. I'm nervous about their upside.
Yeah, they are low ceiling characters.
Yes. You should be nervous about their upside. You should be nervous about their downside. They can't stay on the field. They can't stay on the desk.
Injury
You know
prone.
what I mean? Like, right, exactly. I mean, they're just, look,
You sucked it up from Tuscaloosa.
1,000%. Like, 100%. Like, you just, the best ability is availability. And
How do you think
Connor
I got the job?
and 100%. Like, we didn't want George, but he at least showed up.
Yeah.
He's here on Sundays.
Like I always say, it's like what Keanu Reeves said at the end of Hardball, talking at G-Baby's funeral. The most important thing is showing up.
That's right.
And Connor Rogers has been completely broken by this New York sports season where the Mets and Jets and Rangers have ruined him. And he's a shell of a man, and I worry if we're going to see him again.
Yeah. Are you sticking by Connor Rogers or Lawrence Jackson, or are you picking up somebody like a Denny Carter, like as a handcuff, like just sort of maybe like just
Rotopat, maybe.
Or Rotopat, like going deep in the bench. Yeah, sure.
Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is a good running back.
That's right.
Just need to give him some run.
Yeah, Rotopat is the Tyler Algier.
He can get you 10 to 15 carries, squeeze out a touchdown every now and then.
100%.
Starting Lawrence Jackson.
Yeah. I feel better. It's a good one. That's a good one. They both should be back next week, but we'll see. I definitely would. I would wait till they come back next week, have a good performance, and then sell high.
We got to see it.
We got
like Sean Tucker.
1,000%. Like, see one good performance from them. They'll fall into one in the next couple of weeks, and then immediately sell is what I would do.
leads us into the top waiver ads. And we're going to start it with, these are running backs available in more than 50% of leagues. Some of these names we've already hit on. The one I'm curious about, and Connor's been cueing the hype train a bit, Isaiah Davis, expectations for him in the Jets backfield. Matt.
Right, we love this matchup against Dallas. They're bottom 12 run defense, and they're bottom 2 in terms of scoring defense. I feel like Isaiah Davis, they'll give he's got the best shot at a touchdown. Like, it doesn't feel like they want to use. Yeah, they don't want to use Breece Hall. Ugh. They don't want to use Breece Hall. Justin Fields obviously is always a threat to vulture it as well. But Isaiah Davis, who led the Jets backfield in fantasy points per touch last year, and is an explosive guy. Connor Rogers, who covers that team as well as anyone. One of the reasons why he's not around here is he's constantly at Jets practice and learning things about stuff like Isaiah Davis. Yeah, he really, it's a weird.
Starving Jets fans for that 0-4
Anyway,
info.
Isaiah Davis, and we'll talk more about him in a little bit, but I think Isaiah Davis is pretty interesting here. Justice Hill, 14% target share so far this season. He's on the field for basically 60% of the Ravens' pass plays. And so in a game in which the Texans are actually favored, and Cooper Rush, who, again, sort of has this noodle arm, like, you could see him getting, Justice Hill getting a bunch of dump-offs here, just as Cooper Rush is trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep.
Right?
To me, actually, the most interesting guy on this list is Kendre Miller, who's been sitting on the chubby leather daddy bench. The Nick Underhill, who does an amazing job covering the Saints. God bless that man, by the way, covering the Saints in incredible detail. It's a tough scene these days, but
Dark days.
Is reporting that there are going to be some trades potentially with New Orleans in the next couple of weeks, as they're 0-4 and potentially not going to make the playoffs, unfortunately. So Kamara will be top of that list, you would presume. I think Kendre Miller's good. I think he's a good fit in this scheme, and I think I would say that there is a greater than 50% chance at some point this becomes his backfield, and that makes him very interesting.
I think Isaiah Davis and Kendre Miller are both really potential sort of deep end flexes today. Kendre Miller, of course, against the Giants, he's been getting more and more work every single week, but also just good stashes to grab and wait, because we think there's a non-zero chance that Breece Hall and Alvin Kamara are traded in the next couple of weeks, and then you've got a starting RB1 for the rest of the season. BirdQuest asks, Kendre Miller, Justice Hill, or Malik Washington? Full PPR needs safe points. Thanks. All these people with their safe points. I think it's Justice Hill. Again, as I talked about here, just sort of the dump-offs to Justice Hill. I feel better about his role. Kendre Miller, I think, has some upside. So does Malik Washington.
Yeah.
But in terms of whose role I feel most confident in today?
You have to bet your life on one guy getting to 10 points.
It's Justice Hill.
Justice Hill.
Yeah.
Getting the 4 for 43 on the ground and
texting,
25 rushing yards.
I'd be texting the obit in advance, but he'd be the one that if you really had to
position to be in,
squeeze out 10 points, that would be the guy. I mean, he just exploded, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
The monster fantasy game. So,
Justice Hill.
Yep, that would be the lean. Let's go over now from running backs to wide receivers. Same story, available in more than 50% of leagues. Which name jumps out off the screen at you, Matthew Berry?
Well, we've talked about Iron Man quite a bunch over the year, but 30% target share last week. Calvin Ridley likely going to miss this game, or at least be at less than 100%. How about Darius Slayton? He's going to fill the Malik, not that he's Malik Neighbors, but he is going to fill the Malik Neighbors role in a good matchup against the Saints with Jackson Dart. We like the Giants offense a lot more with Dart under center. And then Malik Washington, who I've been obsessed with since he came into the league last year. He's targeted over 20% of his routes each the past 2 weeks. He's gotten multiple rushing attempts. They find different ways to get the ball in his hands, and that was with Tyreek Hill active. Now with Tyreek Hill out, Jalen Waddle just hasn't looked like himself this year, and so I could see a scenario, I guess, especially against Carolina, where Malik Washington sort of goes off.
Yeah, absolutely. He's obviously got upside, and he shouldn't be on waivers at the moment. You should pick him up and put him on the bench because there is upside there. I still think at the same time, like with Malik Washington, like I've gotten questions about like, do I bench like Jameson Williams for Malik Washington? Like I would rather have Jameson Williams. I do think with Malik Washington still, Waddle will be the one. Achane is probably the 2 in terms of receiving, and then Darren Waller's going to get end zone targets. So there's still some elements to navigate for Malik Washington, but I think we'll learn a lot more after today.
Coffee shop.
Yeah.
Pick 2, half-point PPR, Washington, Kelsey, Slayton, Spears.
I think it's your first 2. I think it's Malik Washington and Travis Kelsey.
Yep.
Again, it's sort of like Slayton. Spears is eligible to come back. We just don't know what his role. Has Tony Pollard taken over this backfield, or does it go back to a split? I want to wait and see on Spears. And so you just heard me talk about Washington. Kelsey's Kelsey against Jacksonville. Monday Night Football should be fine there as well.
Let's keep it going. Quarterbacks and tight ends.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
Yeah, come on. Travis Kelsey on the week that Taylor Swift releases a new album. You think he's not scoring? Please. Of course he is. Absolutely is.
Jackson Dart, give me a letter grade for his debut last week.
Fantasy-wise, it was an A-. Yeah. Real life-wise, it's probably a B-, C+.
Yeah.
But
the rushing numbers are going to be what makes him viable.
That's the point. And it's the rushing numbers and the matchup against New Orleans. Saints allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Tua has had 3 straight games with multiple touching passes. We, in general, like the matchup against Carolina. How about Brenton Strange? I've talked about how often I search for Strange. I've found him in some leagues. I haven't been able to find him in others, but he leads the teams in receptions and receiving yards so far this season.
Which couldn't be a bigger indictment in the Jags' passing attack.
Oh, my God.
And their passing game coordinator, Shane Waldron, if your tight end, Brenton Strange, is leading in receptions and yardage.
I mean,
Shane Waldron's on fraud watch.
He's been on it. He's been on it for years and years and years.
Maybe off the watch, he's just convicted.
They got to step in and do something there. The last person on the list is Mason Taylor, who we've talked about a lot. He's my favorite sort of available in over 50% of leagues, tight end to sort of grab. And Brenton Strange, too, I like as well. But both those guys, Mason Taylor, his target share has increased every single week of the season, 26% target share in week number 4. We like the matchup against Dallas, obviously, as well.
And finally, for those in deep leagues.
If you're looking for a Brock Bowers replacement, basically.
If you're in a 14, 16-team league and you're like, great, all those guys already picked up in
not my league.
Yeah, what the heck? What type of show is this? Let's get to their players available in more than 80% of leagues. That's why we call them desperation plays. So, Matthew?
Isaiah Davis, who we talked about earlier. Cowboys allow over 25 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. I don't think it's a split with Breece Hall, but I think it could be like 65-35. There's an explosiveness to Isaiah Davis. You see it right there, running back 33 for me this week. Jay?
Justice Hill, we just spoke about. I think it's not super inspiring, but if you do need a safe play to get to 8-10 points just in your last flex spot, I think you can do worse than Justice Hill. There are worlds where this gets out of hand against the Texans, and he's dump-off city.
Luke McCaffrey, a year late. He's starting to become a thing now. Touchdowns in consecutive weeks. 2 weeks ago, 3 receptions, 56 yards and a touchdown. Scary Terry out once again. So you think Luke McCaffrey could be a part of this offense if you're really dealing with some serious flexual frustrations. He could be a guy to plug in there.
I like that call. I wonder what he already played Thursday night. I was going to say, the McCaffrey brothers to each score a touchdown would be a fun parlay because that cashed last week.
Yep.
Christian and Luke both scored last week. Obviously, Christian played Thursday night.
The end zone, receiving touchdown. Can't score rushing touchdown anymore.
No.
Mr. King should have had that for DraftKings.
Yes, Mr. King.
Mr.
Great
King.
Man.
Shot for shot time. These are the predictions that we feel the most confident in. And Matthew, since it's your show, let's have you go first.
I appreciate that. All right, here we go. Drake May, Dirake Maye, as our friend the substitute teacher calls him. I say Drake May finishes as a top 10 fantasy quarterback on Sunday Night Football tonight. 3 straight games with at least 19 fantasy points. No team allows more rushing yards to opposing quarterbacks than the Buffalo Bills. So Drake May, top 10 fantasy quarterback today.
Yep. Well done, Matthew. Stephon Diggs, who we spoke about before. I think his line is baffling. That it's 47.5. I think that it should be 12 to 15 yards higher. I'm taking him 50-plus receiving yards at plus money with Mr. King.
There we go. I like it. Mine, getting into these running back receiving yardage props. KW3, low number at 10.5. He's gone over this the last 3 weeks, but the reason why it's such a buy on my end, they're going up against the Bucs. Starting running backs have averaged 48 yards receiving against the Bucs. That's buoyed by Bijan Robinson, but even Nick Chubb had 29 yards receiving against the Bucs. Every starting running back has gone over 10.5, so I think KW3 will go over 10.5 today, receiving yards.
Yep. Drake May plays for the Patriots, by the way, Matthew. You drank the Texans shot glass. Well done. Yeah.
Did it
really? Poor. No, he's not going to
too many shots in Tuscaloosa.
Might have. All right, well, this shot glass is actually correct.
Trending up.
Yeah, so here's the Lions, and it's about Dave Montgomery. Dave Montgomery scores a touchdown for all of you out there who like to do anytime touchdown bets on DraftKings with Mr. King. I think he scores at least one. Now, this is somebody who's had a goal line rush in 3 or 4 games this season. Of course, the Lions are 10.5-point favorites. By the way, a kind of a homecoming for Dave Montgomery. He grew up in Cincinnati. He was born in Cincinnati, games in Cincinnati. So in front of the hometown fans, Dave Montgomery gets in the end zone at least once. Touchdown for Monty.
Okay. You mentioned, George, the Seahawks-Bucks game. These are two teams that have... The Seahawks have an excellent defense. The Bucks have a solid defense. And I think that the Bucks... I think their offense has just reached critical mass with the injuries. No Mike Evans, no Bucky Irving, Cody Mark out for the year, Luke Gedeke on IR. Taking the under in Seahawks-Bucks, under 44.5. I think this is going to be a slugfest.
Okay. I'm going team total here.
Okay, interesting.
Jets over 23.5.
Brave
I like
man.
it.
They've gone over this number 2 of 4 games. The Cowboys have allowed every team they face to go over 23.5 this year.
Yeah.
I think the Jets offense in what's going to be a shootout will easily exceed this number against the Cowboys.
Okay, I like it.
I like it. All right. Now I get to use the Texans shot class properly. Sorry, Patriots shot class. Didn't get used today. But Woody Marks, 75 or more scrimmage yards for the Woodman. 21 touches last week. Ravens allowing 166 yards to scrimmage to opposing running backs. So Woody Marks, who should get the majority of the work in a good matchup against Baltimore, again, giving up 166 yards from scrimmage to opposing running backs. I say at least 75 of those go to my man, the Woodrow, the Wooder, the Woodler, Woody Marks.
Matthew, your bold prediction. DraftKings has his number combined at 77.5.
Yeah.
So you're saying he might hit the under.
I want to be clear about this. And keep it here.
You couldn't have bumped it to 80 and just said he's going to hit over?
I like Josh Allen to throw for 100 passing yards.
Here's what sucks, is that we've been doing the show now. This is our 4th year of doing the show.
Yeah,
Shot for shot. Yeah. Shot for shot is not a bold prediction segment. This is the thing I feel the most strong about today. I'm declaring my shot. I am planting my flag. I'm taking a shot. It is not a bold prediction segment.
Okay.
It is I feel strongly about it. So yes,
So you
I
can
think it
take
goes
unders.
over 75. I think at least 75. Where the
Didn't
F
have the
is
stones
Lawrence?
to get to 78.
Where the F is Lawrence?
Okay.
I miss Lawrence. The love of God.
All
These
right.
two animals.
My final shot.
This sucks.
My
Hey,
final
go
shot.
ahead. Are you
Okay.
done?
Yeah. All right. My final shot. I like Jonathan Taylor to run for at least 10 rushing yards. No. I'm going to take the Eagles team total. Under 24.5. I think there's something deeply wrong.
okay.
There's an illness.
With you?
There is an illness afflicting this Eagles offense. They can't run the ball, and they can't throw the ball. And now they get this Denver defense, which I think is properly elite. Jalen Hurts has always struggled against pressure. I think that the Broncos will generate pressure. And if the Eagles win, they're going to devil magic their way to it again in some sort of 17-16 type of game. But they're not going to reach 25 points.
My final shot for shot here. My prediction doesn't have to be bold for those following along at home.
It's not. It's never been a bold prediction segment. It has literally never
Say
been a bold
Jonathan Taylor,
prediction
10
segment.
rushing yards. Join me.
Oh my God.
Patriots covering plus 8.5. They played the Bills tough last year in Buffalo. Buffalo at home, they've had some squirrely home games. They let the Dolphins hang around, the Saints hang around. They had that crazy comeback against the Ravens. I think this game will be closer final score than what the books are saying right now. Pats lose by a touchdown. They cover.
Yeah, I like it. Go Pats.
Go Pats.
Drake May's the real deal. Or
I agree.
Drake Maye, or whatever you called it.
yeah,
Dothraki May.
Is he, poor man's Josh Allen type, or what?
Potentially. I think we will be talking about him as a top 10.
We had Keegan-Michael Key. We had Keegan-Michael Key on a show this summer. Lawrence and I did. And, he does the substitute teacher character where he mispronounces everyone's name.
Yeah.
And so we asked him to do roll call on some sleepers for us. And,
nice.
And that was the name he came up with for Drake May, was Darake Maye, which is pretty fun.
There you go.
So,
I'll play
there you
that.
go. This is Jalen. And the...
With a 1. It's
Yeah.
an L. Genius.
I like that. I like that. Give the Eagles social team a raise. There you go. They put an 1 instead of the L.
Aloha Bricks. When are we getting Barry merch? It'll be on sale at your local gas station, 50% off.
Not for you, Aloha
That's
Bricks.
a good chirp. That's
pay full price.
Yeah, you're paying full price, Aloha Bricks.
That's a top 10 in the power rankings among the regulars. Aloha Bricks with that chirp.
I hate everyone today.
Good chirp.
think about the Patriots coming here. When you first got in, Tom Brady ran this division. Did he ever give you any type of advice as a young quarterback? And if he did, do you plan on giving any?
Do you think Tom Brady gave any advice to any other quarterbacks?
I don't.
Absolutely not.
I don't.
No. I've gotten to know Tom over the years,
Now,
and
yeah.
I'd say we have a good relationship now. But yeah, I don't think there's much advice given to anybody. But yeah, I mean, I never got to beat him. That was my one regret in my football career. Didn't get to beat Tom. I beat him on the golf course a few times.
That's what matters.
Second best, yeah.
Josh getting a little payback tonight. Josh Allen, undefeated Bills, welcome in Drake Maye and the Patriots to Buffalo. Primetime AFC East clash. Catch it tonight, NBC and Peacock, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. You want to see that full interview? Go to the SNF YouTube channel to check that out in full as well. Going to be a good game tonight. As we are just past noon Eastern.
Yeah.
For our friends in the West Coast, just after 9 a.m., maybe you're just waking up, you're figuring out start, sit, who's injured, Brock Bowers out, who am I putting in at tight end? Matthew, who is causing you to drink?
Derrick Henry.
Oh, no. The king.
Derrick Henry.
The former king.
Former king.
The fallen
King Henry, a member of soon to be 0-5 live at noon on the Tube. My brutal team, like the Excuselers. I'm going to have to change my name to the We're going to be the Excuselers after we lose to Connor. Connor has David Njoku, who's already going off as well. Seriously, Connor Rogers scheduled to score over 160 points in our league, by far the highest scoring team in the league. I'm scheduled to score about 130 points. I'm going to lose.
Yeah,
and part of the reason
I beat Connor last week.
One of the reasons I'm going to lose is because of Derrick Henry. Like again, with a fumble, he's just been bad. He was my second-round pick, and he's been terrible. He was good in week 1, and he's been bad for 3 weeks straight. And now Lamar Jackson is out, and hopefully he has a shot at redemption. But yeah, Derrick Henry, this is it, man. Like, you're going to get a heavy workload against the Texans. They have a tough defense, so I don't know. Derrick Henry is driving me to drink, and I know that the minute I bail on him, that I trade him, whatever, that's when he goes off. So yeah, that's when I was in Tuscaloosa yesterday. Derrick Henry. That's all I was thinking about.
Maybe talk a little trade here.
Yeah, former Alabama Crimson Tide, Derrick Henry. So it makes sense. Who are you offering me?
You want Brock Bowers?
No.
Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, and give me another skill position player.
Derrick Henry plus somebody from Breece Hall? I'm going to pass on that.
Quinshon Judkins?
Yeah.
Cujo.
I would actually.
Yeah.
I would actually do
If he
Quinshon if he weren't playing.
League of excuses. It's Kittle's fault.
Cujo gets it. You know, you know.
Yeah,
If you know, you know.
exactly.
All right, who's driving you to drink?
Lad McConkey.
Yeah, sure.
It's been rough,
Yep.
to say the least. Week 1, he looked okay, 6 catches, 74 yards. Has gotten progressively worse each and every week. To the Nader last week, 1 catch for 11 yards. Has had no.
Did you
touchdown.
just try to say
Yeah,
Nadir?
what was that? Say that word again, George. Nader?
Nader?
Is that a
That's
woman's
Nadir.
name? Nadir.
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 There we go.
Yeah, there's been a couple other pronunciations which I let slide. I'm not letting that one go.
Is this my intervention?
Strike 3, you're out.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
You're supposed to be a professional host. All right, go ahead. All right.
Best
Anyway,
abilities, availability.
that's a good point. Yeah, you're willing to show up and work for free. So it's basically pretty much it.
Yeah, he's been awful. And
Yeah.
he's the third banana now in this Chargers passing attack. QJ's gotten all the touchdowns, Keenan Allen too. So you wonder, is this just a little micro trend beginning of the year, or is it going to course correct?
Yeah.
So,
It's a good question.
Driving me to drink. Jake Browning, who I understand is not an amazing context with a suspect offensive line, but Jake Browning, I believe he scored 13 points the past 2 weeks, combined with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to throw to. Chase Brown, a solid running back out of the backfield. It's not an easy matchup against the Lions, so they are, as we spoke about, they're down corners. The secondary isn't amazing, at least at the cornerback position. Safeties are solid. So Jake Browning, I mean, if he doesn't perform today, George, then I think that they may be looking for alternative options. So Jake Browning, driving me to drink.
we got some questions from the regulars pouring in. Week 5, this from on Twitter, ADD54JCU. Should I start Michael Carter, Amari DiMercato, or should I just stick my head in the microwave? Hashtag
Oh, wow.
FF pregame.
It's a tough one.
How big is the microwave?
Yeah, exactly. George, you know this guy. What should he do? Should he stick his head in the microwave? Is that what you're hoping?
Might not be a bad idea.
Michael Carter.
He's in a bad place.
Michael Carter. And self-harm is never a good idea, to be clear.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
big on you to clarify. Luke,
yes,
blockbuster
thanks.
trade alert. I give CMC and JMO for Amarian and Nico. Thoughts? Ride or die implications here, Matthew.
I would do that trade. I'll tell you why. I think there's the difference between Chris McCaffrey and Omarion Hampton is not the difference between Nico Collins and Jamison Williams. I think there's a massive difference between Nico Collins and Jamison Williams. I don't think there's that much of one. I think we were redrafting today. I think Chris McCaffrey is probably the number one running back in fantasy that goes, and Omarion Hampton's probably like running back 8. And I think that if we redrafted today, I think Nico Collins is like, one of the top 10 wide receivers drafted, and I don't think Jamison Williams is drafted inside the top 40 among wide receivers. They just have too many mouths to feed. They're too successful running the ball, and so after the running backs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's like Jamison Williams and Sam Laporta are sort of competing for scraps. There's no consistency to Jamison Williams in terms of fantasy production. I feel better about Nico Collins, significantly so.
The sneaky thing with the Lions and their passing game is that Amon-Ra St. Brown is a slot receiver.
Yeah.
He leads the NFL in red zone receptions and red zone touchdowns.
That's right.
So, he just gobbles up. He gobbles up all the short stuff, all the slot stuff, and then he also gobbles up all the touchdowns.
Yeah.
So what's left for James Williams? He's going to catch these bomb passes. It's just not a way to live
yeah.
week after week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
so
like
I would
a
do that
Rashid
trade.
Shaheed type now.
Yeah,
basically for the Lions. You're just hoping he pops off with the
Davis.
60-yard touchdown reception. From Thomas, PPR need help, flex Zio Manor or Travion Henderson?
That's a great one, just because here's what I would say. Assuming Calvin Ridley is out, I'm going with A.O. Manor. But I also, here's the thing. A.O. Manor is in the 4 o'clock window. Obviously, Travion Henderson tonight on NBC and Peacock. I'm company man. I would wait to see how I'm looking in the after the 1 o'clock games. I think A.O. Manor is more the floor play. Yep. I think he's definitely getting you at least 10 fantasy points. He's got a shot at a touchdown. Travion Henderson could go off tonight or get 3 for 40. He's got the biggest wide of range. He's got a much bigger range of outcomes than A.O. Manor. And so if I'm down after the 1 o'clock games in a big way, like somebody has a monster game and all of a sudden you're down, he's going against some guy that had 3 touchdowns, whatever it is, then I might swing for the fences with Henderson. But as we sit here today, I think A.O. Manor is the safer play.
And is that safer also with the Ridley injury implications?
Yeah, I just don't think Ridley's any good anymore. Even if he limps around, he played less than 60% of the snaps last week. If I'm not worried about Calvin Ridley, but I would feel even more better if he was out for A.O. Manor. But go with A.O. Manor unless you are down big and you need to swing for the fences.
One of the regulars here, we got Ruben. Hashtag FFAfraid. How many beers to play Travis Hunter? Full PPR, second flex spot. Am I getting drunk?
Obviously, you got to. You're going to have to get loaded. I would say 4 beers to start Travis Hunter. Again, it's not a great matchup against Kansas City. Their defense isn't the defensive whole old, but the Jaguars' offense isn't the Jaguars' offense. They look brutal, and Hunter's playing time has been all over, but more importantly, when he's been out on the field, guys, he hasn't earned targets. Regardless of whether he's on the field for, 20 snaps or 40 snaps or whatever, he's just not out there enough. And so,
I would say, though, Travis Hunter is one of the highest variance players the rest of the season. He is the type of guy, not for today so much, but I would be trying to trade for Travis Hunter because there is upside where, Travis Hunter was the number 1 wide receiver prospect in this draft. And that guy is still, the guy who won the Heisman, he's still there. We're not giving up on him. We've seen the highlight plays. He had that amazing catch last week going up to go and get it from Trevor Lawrence. So Travis Hunter, if by week 12 we're talking about him as a guy who's like a wide receiver 2, wouldn't shock me at all.
I agree.
Jesse Martinez with a question here. Came for the fantasy advice, stand for the ankles. Shout out, Matty B. The ankler, just need 3 half-point PPR. Woody, Kamara, Dowdle, and Rashad White. I lost Bucky.
I like all these guys. I have all 4 as top 20 plays, but I think the first 3 are the correct answers. Woody Marks, Alvin Kamara, and Rico Dowdle. Again, I have Rashad White. They're all 4 top 20 plays for me, but I have White at 20 going against that Seattle defense there as well. I will say I prefer the ankler as a nickname to the excuseler. But that's why the excuseler, of course.
Because one implies that you're a model. And the other implies that you make excuses.
Yes, this is true.
Who could have seen that coming? Last one, this from Phil on Twitter, a.k.a. X, hashtag FF Pregame. Good morning. Pick 2, half-point PPR. QJ, Monty, Jamar already playing Hampton, Achane, Pickens.
I mean,
start Jamar Chase.
Yeah, obviously, you're starting Jamar Chase. I can't believe I'm saying this because you heard my shot for shot, and I think Dave Montgomery gets into the end zone. But Quentin Johnson has been nothing short of phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
We always used to talk about the third-year breakouts for wide receivers. He's in his third year. He's having a legit. This is a former first-round pick who's having a legit third-year breakout. I'm going with QJ against my Commanders, who are not so good. We're stinky.
We really there with QJ, George?
He scored touchdowns in 3 or 4 games, and then the one game he didn't, he had over 80 receiving yards.
Oh, I guess he's just really good now.
Are you?
He's a former first-round pick. He solved the concentration issues. He solved the drops. They've figured a way to get to him.
You in the back of the QJ bus, or you're not buying it?
I think that he's at his highest point now. I think the only way is down for QJ. It's just, is that going to go down and he's still like a solid wide receiver too? Very plausibly. I think the thing is, though, is that if you're high on Ladd McConkey bouncing back, that has to come from somewhere. You can't just go up independent of everything. So I think that is tethered to QJ going down a bit. I just worry with I don't really care. But with the Bengals' run defense, I worry that Dave Montgomery might just go absolutely off and go berserk, kind of like he did against Baltimore. So I would lean Montgomery, but I get it with QJ on performance to date. He's been the guy.
And it could be Jahmyr Gibbs going off. And
sure.
He has
I'm on Ross St. Brown.
8 for 45.
Could easily see a defensive touchdown here, just the way Jake Browning.
Little strip sack Aiden Hutchinson.
The Brown look.
We want your questions throughout the show. #FF Pregame. Matthew Berry, George Savaricas, Jay Croucher. Should we dive into Prop a Shot?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yes,
this is where the excuseler always shines.
Yeah.
Prop a
Go
Shot.
on, Matthew.
All these available on DraftKings.
Matthew, you choose whether you want to go first, second, or third.
Yeah.
You choose where you want
and
to
it's
throw it.
closer as far as you want to go.
I'll go first.
Oh, nice, Jay.
Thank you.
There you go.
You want to go second?
natural one.
I'll go third. I'll put the pressure on. Oh, good. And what I'm doing is I'm throwing from way back here. Unlike you.
Why don't you just throw from further forward?
You can go right here.
Up right here where George. Remember when we were at Cowboy Stadium and George took 5 steps up to throw it into
It was a Patrick Ewing finger roll for
When
George.
you throw it as far as me, you need.
And you went close and didn't
I
help.
still missed it. It's outrageous.
Excuseler throwing a second time or no?
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. It's a bummer.
Jay.
There we go. You don't get second goes, though.
And he totally redeems himself. We're going to start with Jahmyr Gibbs, rushing and receiving, combo number 104.5.
Gibbler. I'm going under just because I think that this is going to be a run script all game, and I think that Dave Montgomery, this is going to be one of those games I think where Dave Montgomery gets 14, 15 carries because they're up so much.
I've got Ashton Genty rushing yards. I'm going to go over 67.5 for the Raiders. I think they lean on him heavy once again. Matthew, over to you. Jaden Daniels passing and rushing, 256.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go under this number. Obviously, with a brace, I think his rushing will be limited here. Mahomes is the only quarterback to go over this number against the Chargers this season. Angry and at home after their loss to the Giants. I think the Chargers show up here. Can meet under 256.5 rushing and passing yards for Jaden Daniels.
Jackson Dart passing yards. This is a low number, Jay. 170.5.
Yeah, this is too low. I have a little rule that if you're an NFL quarterback playing in a dome against the suspect defense, you just can't be set at 170.5. I get that he doesn't have Malik Neighbors and his weapons. They're underdogs in this game, though, so I don't think they're just going to be running the ball all day. I think Jackson Dart can get to 171 passing yards.
Trey McBride receptions, the number I'm looking at, 6.5. I'm going to say under. It's a big number, and I think the Cardinals are going to be pounding the rock in a game where they're favored at home against the Titans. Sean Tucker, this is a fascinating one, Matthew. Rushing yards, 25.5.
I'm taking over. He's had 4 career games where he's had at least 5 rush attempts, and he's been over this number in 3 out of the 4 of them. And so Sean Tucker, who I like, and I expect him to get at least 5 rushing attempts in this game, that's not that big a number. I get it. Seattle's got a good run defense, but there's an explosiveness to Sean Tucker. Give me over 25.5 for the Tuckler.
Jay, how about A.J. Brown, 5-handle, not a 6-handle, for his receiving yardage prop, 58.5.
Going under. I just need to see it from A.J. Brown. This is as tough of a matchup as you can get against this Denver defense. He is likely going to see a lot of Patrick Surtain, who's been a little shaky this year, but I still think he's the best cornerback in the NFL. So I just need to see it from the Eagles passing. It's been 4 weeks and they've shown very, very little.
Got Drake May passing yards, 228.5 on the road at the Bills. He's gone over this number 3 of 4 games. I think they're going to be trailing, negative game script. He's going to be throwing a lot. I think he's going to easily clear 228.5. George Pickens receptions, the number at 5.5, Matthew.
It's a big number, but I'm still going over. Look, 8 receptions last week in that game without CeeDee Lamb with a 29% target share. Jets have allowed at least 6 receptions to a wide receiver in each of the last 2 games. So if you're telling me there's one wide receiver in the Cowboys that's getting 6 receptions, pretty sure it's George Pickens. So, yeah, give me over 5.5 receptions for the Pickler.
Don't know about that one.
Yeah. Oh, I think that one's a winner.
You really shoehorned that one in there.
I think you've picked a loser.
Stop it. Come on, regulars. Help me out here. The Pickler. That's a good one.
Give me one for Darren Waller.
It's my one.
The Waller.
No, a nickname.
The Darrenler.
The Darrenler?
The Darrenler.
The Waller.
The Waller.
The Waller, yeah.
Yeah.
It's already there. Receiving yards, 32.5 for the Dolphins.
I'm going to go under, and I think Darren Waller can still have a very good game and a fantasy productive game. It's just that I think a lot of his targets are going to come in the red zone. And I'm not sure that he's going to play a ton of snaps, so I'll take under 32.5. He had a great game last week, and he went under this number.
This might surprise people. Josh Allen passing yards, 224.5. Seems low. You would think obvious buy for the over. I'm going under. He's gone under this the last 3 games. They're heavy home favorites. I think they're going to be running a lot. And you look at his passing yardage numbers in 3 victories. 209 last week, 213 the week before, 148 against the Jets. So I don't think they're going to have to rely on his arm like we saw. Everyone has a recency bias with the 4th quarter against the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. They haven't been throwing a ton, the Bills, early in the season. The final one, Matthew, Woody Marks. He's back, rushing and receiving yardage, 77.5. So we're getting a square answer out of you here.
Go try and middle it. Take the under.
I think he at least gets 75, but no. I'm taking the over.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm taking the over. But like, it was my shot for shot was, it was 75 yards from scrimmage. At least. I think I said at least. So I'm taking the over. Think he has a good game here. Look, no team in the NFL gives up more yards more scrimmage yards to running backs than the Baltimore Ravens. It's brutal. I'm having a long time struggling. I'm trying not to, get an FCC fine for what I want to say to the 2 of you assholes. But 18% target share last week. He got almost 60% of the Texans' running back rush attempts as well. So in a good matchup against Baltimore, yes, I think Woody Marks goes over 77.5 rushing and receiving yards, you animals.
Does the FCC's reach extend to YouTube and Peacock?
No, not really. They don't know where. No one's aware that they're watching this show. Like NBC doesn't know this show's on. YouTube, Peacock, they definitely don't know. The FCC could, they don't care.
Matthew McConaughey at the end of Interstellar, just sneaking in to steal a plane.
That's right.
Go meet up with Anne Hathaway on another planet.
If you want to tail the action here, DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins, just download the Sportsbook app, use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Crown is yours.
The crown is yours.
Crown is yours.
It is Flip Cup time. We need our
big go.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, we need some extra cups here.
No. I just drank all the water.
I still have like half a cup.
The vodka.
This is not
we got extra red cups so we can.
No, there's no extra red cups.
No extra red cups.
You have to drink all that, and you got to dash off to the airport.
They're up here.
We got.
Hang
there.
on. I'll go get them. You got them?
Yeah.
I'll get them. That's fine. Make George do work.
Unbelievable. So we give you the.
Just adding to the drama here.
Yeah, that's right.
As we give you the 26-minute check-in, Cleveland Browns up 17-14, 3:27 left.
Yes.
The feel-good Cleveland Browns.
Now walk-off set. Here, give them to me. Give them to me. We have to put some. Hang on.
Hey, I gotta pour water.
Stop it. For the love of God.
I don't want Matthew to trip on the set.
Matthew, I got water right here.
We don't drink water with the Flip Cup. Put something real in here, Kenny. Go ahead. Hang on, look at Dylan Gabriel, 7 for 29, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a nice debut for the kid.
Very much a game manager performance from Joe, but he's getting the job done. He's got 2 touchdown passes, so I don't think he's going to be fantasy viable at any point.
No, but he's done enough to get another start for the Browns.
Quinshot Judkins, by the way. Quinshot Judkins is going to be a locked-in RB1 every week.
He's last year's
something
Bucky
a little
Irving.
stronger. Something a little stronger.
You buy that? I said he's last year's Bucky Irving.
Where's that? Quinshot Judkins?
Yeah, I can see that.
I think he's going to be better than Bucky Irving.
Yep,
All right.
I agree. All right.
Okay.
All right. Down, cheers, down again, drink.
Yes. To the explainer.
Down, cheers, down.
Oh, you can knock mine.
Oh, another photo finish between Mary and I.
And Jay, once again.
All right, we'll say you won.
Sure.
You go first.
Who did I pick? Someone get in my ear and tell me who I
Great
picked.
segment. You picked Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, that's right, Jonathan Taylor.
Chalkiest pick possible.
Second week in a row that you forgot who your pick was.
Yeah, I did. There we go.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown.
I went James Cook.
Yeah,
I
like
got
that.
Javonte Williams. Pretty chalky.
It's all
plus
chalky.
259 there.
Yeah, it's all chalky. But you know what? Like sometimes these touchdown picks are, sometimes the odds are.
Jonathan Taylor.
Well, we were missing Lawrence plus money Jackson, and that's why we didn't juice it quite high enough. But it could be the first one that we hit, as we got a mic down.
Yeah, sat on it. What are you gonna do? Anyway,
let's get
Jonathan
the
Taylor
right
scores a
for the love
touchdown. You guys think it's all chalky, and yet some of them didn't hit. Mine keep hitting. Your guys don't.
You take Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley every week.
Rankings on the other side of the
Saquon
short
doesn't
break.
score. And James Cook, doesn't he lead the league in touchdowns? Chalk City.
We are back, week 5. We got Justin Fields in the house. Can the Jets get a dub in the win column? Justin Fields, the 2 games that he's finished this year have been great fantasy-wise, but they haven't necessarily been great production-wise for the Jets offense, who is just undone by all those untimely fumbles last week in Miami. But they have an attractive matchup coming up with the Cowboys at home, and that's why Justin Fields lands top 2. Matthew, you said you got him at number 2. What's your buy on, Jay, for Justin Fields in this Cowboys matchup?
Well, look, first off, you had me at Dallas, right? No team allows more fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. Every quarterback to face the Cowboys so far this year has scored at least 24 fantasy points. I think Justin Fields, who scored 29 and 27 in his 2 completed games this year, will be able to do that as well. Again, my number 2 quarterback this week. He makes the love list as well. Big game coming for Justin Fields.
Looking good. And Jalen Hurts inside
the Fieldler.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, there was a Jay Fiedler.
I know.
Yeah.
He is.
Dolphins great back in the day.
That's true.
We've been talking so much about this. Let's get to Aloha Bricks. Justin Fields looks happier since leaving the Bears. Everybody looks happier when they leave the Bears.
Wow. That's an underrated shot at you, George. That's
Come,
true.
George. Come
Good
join me.
point.
Be a Colts fan. It's great
right.
over here. The water's warm.
That's right. All right, Aloha Brooks. I'm giving you 10% off the Berry merch. You no longer have to pay full price.
What's
You're
the
still not
code?
getting the 50% off.
What is it? Excuselers?
Yeah,
the
Excuselers.
discount code?
Yeah, exactly right.
How does Jalen Hurts crack the top 10? And all we've been doing is kind of crapping on the Eagles' passing attack, but he's still viable. Is it because of the rushing.
The thing with Jalen Hurts, like all the guy does is win. He's won 19 out of 20 games. I think the game they lost, he left injured as well. So basically, every game that Jalen Hurts finishes, they just win every time. They made like week 3 against the Falcons last year. Jalen Hurts, his passing program set at 186.5 yards. Like I think Jalen Hurts has been fine this year. I don't think he's played particularly poorly or anything.
Okay.
He took what was there against Dallas in week 1. He led them back against the Rams in week 3, but just need to find more in this passing game. He has Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Whether it's the scheme, they just need to figure it out because there's too much talent for this to be so just sunk as an offense in terms of their explosiveness down the field.
Let's work our way down the ranks. And we touched on it briefly with Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors being out for the year. Is it going to be kind of a wide receiver core by committee as far as who seems to be the number one option week to week that Jackson Dart's throwing to?
Probably a little bit. I mean, I do think Wan'Dale Robinson has his set role, kind of like Darius Slayton. We've talked about Theo Johnson as kind of a backup tight end. Either way, the reason for Jackson Dart to be a top 13 play for me this week, as you see it there, as a low-end QB1, high-end QB2, is the rushing. Last week he had 10 rushing attempts. 5 of those rushing attempts came within the red zone. 2 were goal to go, 3 were just in the red zone. But like out of the 10 rushing attempts, half of them came when they were in close. Saints allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. So Jackson Dart, in his first full start, second full start, I should say, I think it will be fantasy viable. I think he's going to be a better fantasy quarterback than real-life quarterback in the short term here, but he's viable today, for sure.
Is he running more than you thought he would? We knew he had some mobility.
This is exactly what I thought he would do. We talked about this in the preseason, that when Jackson Dart becomes the starting quarterback of the Giants, he's going to be a borderline QB1. Yep. The rushing is what we saw this in the preseason and did it in college as well, for sure.
To our running back ranks, and 1 through 10, the big name players that you expect to be there. Jonathan Taylor has basically a stranglehold on that top spot, followed by Jahmyr Gibbs, and James Cook, 1, 2, 3. Matthews, ride or die.
I think they all scored touchdowns today, too.
Has ascended all the way up to 5th in the running back ranks, 11 through 20, and this is a name that has cracked the top 20 for the first time this season. He's getting his first start, so makes sense. Rico Dowdle for the Panthers, and you have him at 15.
Yeah, the Dowdler, as everyone calls him. What about the Rico?
I call him Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico? Yeah. I think everyone likes the Dowdler. Anyway.
George liked that one.
Yeah.
I'm a big Napoleon Dynamite fan.
Come on, of course, who isn't? We talked about Rico Dowdle earlier in the show as well. It's a nice matchup against Miami. We'll allow the 7th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Giving up like 110 rushing yards per game. No Chuba Hubbard today, so Dowdle's going to get the majority of the work for the Carolina Panthers. And in games last year, when he got at least 15 touches, when Dowdle gets work, he has been effective. Is he amazing? Is he efficient? No, but he averaged over 103 yards from scrimmage per game. I think that's a reasonable number. He's my running back 15 today.
We got a question popping in on the tube. The regulars have their questions from Hamane Edwards. Hashtag FF pregame. Dowdle, BTJ, or Dobbins for flex 1-point PPR. Hashtag Kangaroo J.
Yeah.
I like that hashtag more than October Judge. So let me tell you.
Yeah, Kangaroo J, not bad. I miss J Gun.
J-Gun was good, but that was very 2024.
Yeah, exactly. We've moved on. Now we're into the new year of Kangaroo J.
Have we moved on? I'm not sure. I will say, Hamane, I think Rico Dowdle is the answer here.
Uncle Rico.
We like Dobbins, but again, it's a tough matchup on the road at Philadelphia and BTJ. It's just, we've talked about this.
Uncle Rico. He showed he could take a workload as an RB1 last year.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Another running back in that 11 to 20 ballpark in the ranks. Travis Etienne, have we already reached his sell high for the season?
Yes, we've reached the opposite of his nadir, George. We've reached the zenith, so to speak. I think that Travis Etienne, he's the exact prototype of a guy who is overperforming his expected numbers, where he's been heavily reliant on these very long, explosive runs, think back to the 70-yarder in Week 1 against the Panthers. Think about the bomb that he ran down against the Niners last week. He's not getting any receiving usage at all. He's in a dysfunctional offense. So Travis Etienne's fine. You start him each week. I just expect his production to trend down.
Short Hops Trading Cards, one of the regulars. QB toss-up. May or Goff, flex fight, ETN, BTJ, or Montgomery? Hashtag FF pregame. Couple different questions.
Yeah, 2 questions there as well. I like both these guys today. I mean, I don't know if they can sort of screw this up. I'm going to go with
I'd go May.
I go May.
Yeah, I was
because Goff on the road and
Goff
Goff
may not
at
throw
home.
in the second half.
That's the issue. So we're going with Drake May here, and for me, it's between Etienne or David Montgomery. Etienne, like the underlying number, I'm going to say Montgomery just because I think he's got the best chance of a touchdown to those three guys. I'm going to say Dave Montgomery.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So. Continuing with our running back ranks, and it's going to be.
Yeah. No, but like Etienne, like the only concern on like Montgomery's got it, but he's going to need a touchdown to pay off. Yeah. Like, I do think Etienne's okay against
Etienne probably
City.
will as well because he doesn't get any receiving game.
That's the issue. I think it's kind of a really coin flip there between Montgomery and Etienne.
Continuing our conversation on the Cardinals' backfield, 24-25 Michael Carter and Amari DiMercato. Matthew, what else? Empty the chest on Michael Carter at 24.
Well, again, it's a great matchup with the Titans, who give up the third most rush yards per game and the sixth highest yard per carry to opposing running back. Carter, who we expect to get the lion's share of the rushing work. DiMercato is going to be the third down back and the passing down back. But Titans top 4 in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing running back. So as home favorites, as a touchdown home favorite, Michael Carter should get a big workload against Tennessee.
And the case for Amari DiMercato averages 6 yards per carry in his career in the NFL. Very explosive player. He's the more likely guy to break a long run where he could have one of those weeks where you have 10 touches and he ends up with 80-plus total yards just based on one that springs for 40 or 50. We've seen it historically throughout his career. Joseph Cook, a question here. Matty B looking sharp after chugging beers with college kids.
That's why I look sharp.
Mm-hmm. Respect. Need one. Diggs, Carter, White, or Godwin. Thanks. 12-team PPR.
So I assume that's Michael. That's Michael Carter and Rashad White. I'm going with the Godler. Chris Godwin.
Going with God?
Yeah, I'm going with God.
When in doubt, go with God.
I'm going with Chris Godwin. I just think I've said this before. In situations like this, a lot of times where it's really like a super close toss-up, I just go with the guy that I think is the best NFL player. And I think Chris Godwin is the better NFL player of those 4 guys. All due respect to Stephon Diggs, friend of the podcast.
Yeah. Might go Rashad White. I feel some PPR scammery coming.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that as well.
Let's go over to our wide receiver ranks, and it's been interesting at the top to see some of the big names that we thought would be there. CeeDee Lamb's been injured. Jamar Chase has had a slow start because of the Joe Burrow injury. Amon-Ra occupies the top spot. Nico Collins this week because of the matchup is 2. And you got Justin Jefferson, Garrett Williams, George Pickens rounding out 3, 4, and 5. Let's get to 11 through 20. How about this guy? Started the season injured, and now he's all the way inside your top 20. That's Chris Godwin.
Yeah, exactly. So you go back to the previous question that was asked. One of the reasons that I like Godwin so much, 25% target share, which was tied for the team lead, 91% route participation, looks fully healthy. So the underlying numbers are there. Seahawks allowing the 8th most yards to the slot this year. So it's to the extent that there is a positive in terms of facing Seattle, that's an area of the field you can attack. I like Chris Godwin this week.
You confident in Jalen Waddle really getting the bulk of the targets in that Dolphins offense now that Tyreek Hill's out?
No, not confident, but I think you do have to regress to the idea that he should be the wide receiver 1. He said it's 66.5 receiving yards. That's like 3 yards lower than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, he really needs to be the number 1 guy in this offense. It's a very favorable matchup against Carolina. So if not now, then never for Jalen Waddle.
Drop it down 10 more. Michael Pittman Jr., once again, fantasy viable thanks to Danny Dimes slinging it. He's just outside your top 20 this week, Matthew.
At least 24% target share in 3 out of 4 games this season. You like the matchup with the Raiders, who have allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. They're no Alec Pierce once again. A.D. Mitchell probably in the doghouse. So Pittman and Tyler Warren once again should lead the passing attack for Danny Dimes in a great matchup.
And just going to hop on board with what you guys had laid down with Stephon Diggs. I think a revenge game for him. You know, it's personal, especially with how he felt on that exit. So I think he's going to have a big week against the Bills, and they're going to be trailing, so they're going to be throwing a lot. To our tight end ranks, 1 through 10, and of course, Matthew, we got to go with one of your biggest disappointments, who is top 10 this week in the tight end ranks.
Yeah, now or never for Sam Laporta. I know he had a decent week 1, but it's been a bit quiet, but he gets the Bengals, right? And teams facing Cincinnati this year average a league-high 10 tight end targets on the season. Bengals allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. So, yeah, Sam Laporta, come on down. I'm as a top 5 play this week.
Another Colts pass catcher that's in the top 10, and he's been the best rookie tight end this season, Tyler Warren, Jade.
He's been the best tight end overall in football. Leads all tight ends in receiving yards. He's set at 60.5 receiving yards this week, which just shows how dominant of a force he is. I think this offense, it really runs through Tyler Warren and Jonathan Taylor. Those are the two identities of the offense. I think there's a very good case to be made that Tyler Warren should be Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite. He's not. He's like the 5th or 6th favorite. So I think the show keeps rolling for Ty War.
And Carson Wentz just put on his cape, late touchdown to Jordan Addison. They're up 21-17, 20 seconds to go. Could be a comeback victory for the Vikes there.
There you go.
Hold on, Carson.
Yes. And well done, George. Yeah, way to work that in there. You know who has Jordan Addison in our league? George does. Of course he does. That's why George is, just so you know. Don't think he's being selfless here. He's just,
if you go to 0-5.
When I go to 0-5.
Yeah, what's happening?
You quit?
Yeah, well, you quit the league, you quit the show. What
probably.
happens?
Probably all of it. I probably have to retire.
You pick up a new hobby?
What?
Yeah, you pick up a new hobby?
I'm going to have to. I think so.
0-5ler.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I honestly, I'll answer the question honestly. I would just keep playing, right? I mean, you have to, for the integrity of the league, I will still continue to try to make waiver moves, and I'll still try to start my best possible lineup because
there's no sacco punishment in this league.
No, whatever. I mean, I don't want to finish last. I'll work to finish last. But yeah, at 0-5, my season's over, and I expect to be 0-5. I think Connor's going to win. Again, he's projected to have the most points in the league. No Mike Evans today. What are you going to do? Yeah, it is. My team's not good.
And flip side for J Gun. Hot start to the season.
Oh, absolutely. My team's Juggernaut. Yeah, Quinchon Judkins is sitting on my bench. It's unbelievable. I don't know if you've heard of the 1927 Yankees.
Yeah.
That's me.
I will say, again, by the way, just as long as we're talking about it, Mason Taylor, I'm as a tight end 14. Yeah. He's available in over 50% of leagues. Cowboys allow the 3rd highest catch rate to opposing tight ends. His target share's increased every week this season.
I'd say that 9-9 would be a good fantasy league punishment for Barry.
The what?
9-9. 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, 9 innings.
I'll tell you exactly what the
could
fantasy
be 9
league.
Pinos.
Here's the fantasy league punishment for Barry. I have to keep doing this effing show. That's the punishment.
How about Blue getting into it? A little beer pong over there. We're playing with Steins, the Bayern Munich mascot there.
A lot of bouncing. I don't like the bouncing in beer pong. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a big beer pong bouncing guy. I don't like to play in rules like that. I have very specific rules around beer pong. This is a true story, I am the back-to-back champions of my neighborhood beer pong league. I have to
What are you playing, dead people or something?
No, it's the entire neighborhood. If you guys think I'm obnoxious in the League of Assholes, this is a true story. If you guys think I'm obnoxious in the League of Assholes, after winning my 4th, me and my buddy John Mendes, shout out to John wherever we are, me and my partner John Mendes, we filmed a 30 for 30 a documentary about our rise to fame. That was kind of a parody of The Last Dance because we announced our retirement at the end of the 4th. And we just had to let somebody else in the neighborhood have a chance to win.
Why did you announce your retirement? Have you got issues with Reinsdorf?
No, exactly, right? No, we just felt like, let's go out a winner. We won 4 straight, Here's what we did. We did a total Jay Croucher
Heavy is the
thing.
head that wears the crown.
We did the most Jay Croucher thing of all time, which
Do tell.
is we spent the year talking nothing but crap, it's completely obnoxious. And then we filmed this documentary all about how great we are, like it's a 10-minute documentary. And then we announce our retirement, so no one gets a shot at us. It's just the jerkiest thing in the world, and it makes me laugh to this day.
All-time villain move.
Absolutely, but anyway.
Unsubscribe from all of this.
It's fine. The key to beer pong, obviously, is the elbow. Too many people use the wrist, Jay. Too many people use the wrist. The key is keep the wrist straight and the elbow.
From a champion.
It's the
here.
elbow. The advice from a champion.
I just hope
for the young kids out there watching, I just want you to know.
Molding the minds of America.
Yeah.
And I hope
I was in
bouncing
Alabama
rules
yesterday. I schooled a bunch of kids.
Bouncing rules that you can play defense.
I don't like bouncing. I do believe in redemption, but you got to do it behind the back. Come on, stop it. Let's go.
How about on a scale of 1 to 5, we get into beer goggles?
Yeah, let's do it. Out of 1.
What would it take for you to start these players? And producer Steven was asking, are you a leaner?
100%.
Definitely one of those
great cheaters of our time. Hawkeye would sink this dynasty.
Football after football.
Stop it. You know what? I'm going to show footage on Monday's Fantasy Football Happy Hour of this.
Can't wait.
We will show footage of me in action.
The viewers couldn't be more excited. We're starting with Raiders at Colts. Matthew, how many beers to start Jacoby Myers?
Just 1, man. Just something to be social. Don't need any buzz at all. Look, Colts already allow the third most yards to the slot. Kenny Moore, of course, their terrific slot corner, not going to play in this one as well. So Jacoby Myers, who gets such a massive target share, only one game this year with less than a 20% target share. Jacoby Myers should get a ton of looks in a good matchup in a game in which they're significant underdogs. So Geno, especially with the Brock Bowers being banged up, Jacoby Myers gets a ton of work today at Indianapolis. I'm as a top 14 play today. Just 1 beer, just again being social. I'm sipping it, like whatever. I don't even care.
How about the Indiana Jones experience with old Daniel under center?
Yeah, it took a little bit of a hit last week against the Rams, but I think they get back on track here. Not afraid of this Raiders secondary at all. Still got some rushing upside for DJ to tap into, maybe a goal line little sneak, though Tyler Warren and Jonathan Taylor intruding there. 1 beer for Daniel Jones. Feel very good about DJ. So a fringy quarterback 1.
Guy who has me concerned, Colts wide receiver Josh Downs. I'm saying 4.5 beers. It's one of those hold your nose and just do it if you have to, if you're dealing with the bye week blues. The only reason it's not 5 beers, and he's only gone over 35 receiving yards once, double-digit fantasy points once this season. Alec Pierce out. So that would be the only X factor. Adonai Mitchell in the doghouse last week. Maybe it's a game where Josh Downs gets 5 to 6 targets.
But you want no part of Josh Downs.
Still, no. That's why it's not 5 beers. I got to be housed.
Drunk.
Yeah.
Which is sad, by the way. He's a good receiver.
He is a good receiver. It's just whatever. I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's a very weird one.
You're a Colts man. Talk to them.
Yeah. Tyler Warren's too good.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Very solid, but yeah, there's only so many mouths to eat.
Denver at Philly. Devontae Smith and the Eagles wide receiver core, they seem very disgruntled. Not just Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown as well. How many beers for you to start, Smith?
Yeah, 3. I'd want 3 beers. I'd want to be feeling pretty good. Feeling like I was in Tuscaloosa yesterday. Feeling no pain as I watched the Tide roll all over the Commodores. Listen, here's the thing about Devontae Smith, right? His utilization score is 59. That's on a scale of 1 to 100. It's a fantasylife.com proprietary metric, but basically just tells you, like, he's not going to use that much. He's outside the top 40 among wide receivers in utilization score. He has yet to have a game this year with more than 60 yards. And then you think about this Broncos defense, who allows the 6th fewest fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers. What does Philadelphia want to do? They want to run the ball. And so, what are the odds that Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown go off in this game? I don't think they're great. Maybe one does, but you feel like you'd feel better about A.J. Brown. I think, I don't know about Dis, but he'll definitely continue to be gruntled. Devontae Smith. Yeah.
Don't know about that.
You want that? It's a slight buy on my end.
Yeah, come on.
Heavy sell.
Lukewarm.
Screw you guys. You know what? I'm over here trying to make magic, and these two not help me out at all. You know what I mean? I just feel like, here's what I feel like. I feel like if the three of us were stuck out on the river in a canoe, where all of a sudden it was like,
let's hope that never happens.
No, I'd be the only one.
Matthew
You know what?
can't swim.
I'm the one paddling, and these two are looking at their phones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've been placing bets.
Yeah, exactly. Not even. Right? George is updating his tea time. Jay's updating his bets. But trying to cash out all of his futures bets because it's not looking grim. He's trying to. Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins. How comfortable are you with where he is?
Pretty comfortable with Dobby, the Dobblington. 2 beers for J.K. Dobbins. Yeah. I feel like game script's not going to get away from Denver in this one. I think it's going to be a close, ugly game. He's still getting a healthy amount of the work, even as R.J. Harvey perhaps builds up. J.K. Dobbins still the guy you want to start there.
R.J. Harvey, the other guy in that backfield. I'm saying 3 beers. He had 18 touches last week. A lot of that was because it was such a blowout against the Bengals. I think even with negative game script, he had 4 receptions last week. He'd get the bulk of the receiving work. So not a bad flex play. 3 beers, starting to get a little loosey-goosey. Not a surefire start, but could fit a lot of people's rosters in Week 5. Giants at the Saints. Chris Olave has been a target machine, but hasn't really put up monster fantasy points.
Yeah, I'd say 1.5 beers here. Again, not really worried about it. I'm definitely starting him. That's a top 20 play this week. Wide receiver 17. The half a beer is just again, he's had tremendous amounts of volume. He just hasn't done much with them. That's the only concern here. He's got a 30.5% target share this year. That is 5th best in the NFL. He's 5th best in the NFL in terms of target share, and yet the production just hasn't been there. Having said that, they're at home against the Giants, who have allowed the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. I do think there's a decent chance Olave gets into the end zone in this one. So just 1.5 beers. Again, I don't know that you have an option to not start Chris Olave in a week with 4 teams on a bye, a bunch of other people banged up.
How about for Rashid Shaheed and the Saints?
Yeah, Rashid the Dream. Not so dreamy so far this year. I was hoping that his route tree might expand a little bit as he continues to grow into this offense, but it's the same deal it's always been with Rashid Shaheed. You need him to catch the deep bomb. Now, the Giants, not so afraid of their secondary if the offensive line can hold up and then give him that time, but 3 beers for Rashid Shaheed.
Cam Scannaboo had 25 carries last week. Tyrone Tracy practiced Friday. He's out, so you're not going to have much of his carry share eaten into by Motor Singletary. I still think he's going to get the bulk of the work. Just 1 beer for me. Cam has done enough to show you that he's the guy who's going to get that large amount of volume for the Giants' backfield. Definitely a guy you want in your lineup. Last game we're looking at, Washington at the Chargers. Commanders.
Big game for us. Big game.
Very big game. 2-2.
3-point dogs. A little disrespectful for Jaden Daniels.
Well, he's in a knee brace, and, no Terry McLaurin. And, the Chargers, after last week's loss, I think they're probably angry. And so Harbaugh's been yelling at him all week. He's got wrinkles in his khakis, this is going to be a tough game for the Commanders. They're basically saying the Chargers are 1.5 point better. Yep. They're better than the Commanders by 1.5 points. And I think with a less than 100% Jaden Daniels and no Terry McLaurin, I think that's probably right. Chargers are a pretty good team.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
And we thought that Ladd McConkey was going to be the breakout star for the Chargers. Has it materialized? How many beers to start him?
No, it's been McConkulous, and what's been McConkulous is his lack of usage here. 3 straight games with below a 20% target share. That ties his total from all of last year, and we're only in week number 5. I'm going to say 2 beers here. Again, normally he's a 0 beer, 1 beer guy. The usage is concerning, so I'm going to say 2 beers. Having said that, he's Ladd McConkey. Everything I've seen from the tape feels like he's still the same guy. He's still getting separation. The ball just hasn't found him. That might, against my Commanders, who are bottom 10 in the NFL in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing wide receivers. They also are 2nd in terms of the most yards allowed to the slot, which is where McConkey lines up the majority of the time. this might be a get-right game for Ladd McConkey. He's my wide receiver 24, so he's a wide receiver 3, but with obvious upside.
And I think Dwayne had tweeted out some good Dwayne McFarland with Fantasy Life, some good Ladd McConkey propaganda with the all-22 showing the separation that he had and downfield shots that were missed at least through the first 4 weeks.
Dwayne does the work. No one works harder than Dwayne. He's unbelievable. He's a machine.
How do we read this Commanders backfield and where Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is?
Yeah, 3 beers for me here. 1, he's competing with other guys in that backfield. 2, they're 3-point dogs. I think just JCM, he's settled into being a RB3, really high-end flex type of guy, and I don't think that's going to change in the near term.
The only positive potentially for Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, is that, again, with Jaden Daniels in the knee brace, I suspect if they get in close, he's not going to get vultured by. Now, there's a chance that Chris Rodriguez or Jerry McNichols, but I feel like
Rodriguez would be the guy to watch.
Yeah, exactly. But and McNichols at if they on a third down, like a kind of a dump off. But I do feel Krosky-Merritt has a better chance in scoring this week than he might in normal weeks, just because again of Jaden Daniels wearing the knee brace.
And the guy who always has a good chance of scoring when the Commanders are in the red zone, Zach Ertz, the timeless Zach Ertz. I'd say 2.5 beers. He's a top 12 borderline fantasy option at tight end, so just a decent buzz there. So if you total it up, we did some good work there. I put down 11 beers for Jay. You're at 9. Matthew, after Tuscaloosa, easing up, took your foot off the gas. It's 7 beers there.
On the waters.
I'm still drunk. I'm still drunk from my time in Tuscaloosa.
So many lines,
yeah.
You know what hasn't been good?
Yeah.
Barry figuring out who to go home with.
Yeah,
Jay's bets 0-4 cashing. He's picked up Barry twice. Lawrence has picked up Barry twice. His bets have cashed just once. So
Combined, when I have gone home, it has been disappointing nights.
Futile.
Yes.
Futile.
A lot of dysfunction.
So I'll be sliding in for Lawrence this week.
Yeah,
it's my first time.
Yeah, take a shot.
Trying to hashtag bed Barry.
Yeah,
do you
exactly.
I'll start us off. Yeah, I'll start. All right, it's time to end this stupid slide. I'm going to win. I'm going to win a bet today. Just win one bet. It's like the Yankees. Just win one playoff game today. All right, here's what I'm going with. Do you know who passes over expectation most in the NFL, Matthew? It's 1, Justin Herbert and the Chargers, which has been well documented.
Yeah.
2nd, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, as they always do. 3rd, Drake May and the New England Patriots, which is a little surprising, right? So there's going to be a defense first, run the ball team. No, they throw the ball a ton. And that's why I'm giving you Drake May over 228.5 passing yards. This total is almost 50 against the Bills. They're more than touchdown dogs. They're going to have to throw. If you prorate Drake May for when he actually completes 4 quarters, he's averaging over 260 pass yards per game. It's just he sat the 4th against Carolina. So I think Drake May goes over 228.5.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Okay.
I might steal that for tonight. I haven't figured out what I want to do tonight. I might steal that one.
Not a bad one. You know which defense is 32nd in the NFL in EPA allowed per dropback? The Cowboys.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Thanks. I was going to guess that, but you beat me to it. Yeah, good job. Yeah, okay.
They're going up against the Jets. Garrett Wilson's line, 65.5. He's gone over this 3 or 4 times. Justin Fields loves peppering Garrett Wilson. He's going to have a monster game against a depleted Cowboys secondary at home, and we've seen the connection. And I mean, Justin Fields loves to just lock in on his number 1 receiver. We saw it with the Bears and DJ Moore as well.
So, all right. So, you know what? I actually like both these bets, and I think I literally might steal that bet for tonight for Football Night in America, but I've never gone home with George.
Yeah, could
Let's
be
get weird.
Let's get wild.
It's been a while.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. I've never gone Greek, so let's try it out.
You'll never go back.
That's what I hear. So I'm going to go with. I do think that Jets Cowboys game is a sneaky shootout as well. I agree with massive target share. Justin Fields is my number 2. My number 2 quarterback this week. So give me Garrett Wilson. I'm going home with George. Get the baby oil. Get the Greek baby oil out.
All right, we got a minute 30 for bar trivia. I'm subbing in for Lawrence. Let's rip through these. You ready to rock, Matthew?
Yes, sir, I am. Look at those standings, by the way. This is a domination.
We got a minute 30. We got 90 seconds.
All right, let's go. Hurry
More
up.
receiving yards, Brock Bowers or Tyler Ward?
Tyler Ward.
Ward. More total yards, Kamara or Scatteraboo?
Scatteraboo.
Scatteraboo. More fantasy points, Garrett Wilson or George Pickens?
Garrett Wilson.
Pickens. More receptions, A.J. Brown or Cortland Sutton?
Cortland Sutton.
A.J. Brown.
Sutton. More receiving yards, Tet McMillan or Jalen Waddle?
T-Mac.
Tet McMillan.
More fantasy points, Derrick Henry or Woody Marks?
King Henry.
Yes, King Henry.
I'll go Woody Marks. More passing yards, Kyler Murray or Cam Ward?
Kyler.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler. More receiving yards, JSN or Emeka Egbuka?
JSN.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and
JSN as well. More fantasy points, Jahmyr Gibbs or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I'll go with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Gibbs. More fantasy points, Justin Herbert or Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels.
Herbert.
I'll go Herbert. More rushing yards, Josh Allen or Drake May?
Drake May.
I'll go Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. More receiving yards, Xavier Worthy or BTJ?
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy.
I'm going to, yeah, Xavier Worthy. I can't go BTJ.
He's done.
He's looked so bad this year.
Anyway, listen, that music that you hear right there means it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. George, keep your phone up.
Time for us to get out of here.
Go get yourself a win for Jay and George. Lawrence, we'll see you next week. I'm Matthew. Good luck today. Peace out.